The Morning Invasion with Tex and Steve-O.
I suppose we should get going.
Yeah!
Let's go.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, good morning, everybody.
Yes!
Live from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 Studios.
It's Friday!
It is Friday, guys. Welcome to it. We're going to check and see if our friends down in Florida are with us. Hello, can you hear us? Hello? Hello? Yep, that's what I thought. Having technical difficulties, guys. We're supposed to be talking to Nate Heitzig and Stephen Christian.
Yeah.
They're live down in Florida. We're going to talk about their big week out there.
Dude, last hour was amazing. We had our boss man, Chip, was on, hanging out with Lenya, talking Reload Love for the hour, which was incredible, reloadlove.com. And this hour, we're going to be getting some updates from Florida from Nate and Stephen, who are out there kicking it in Orlando.
Yeah.
Orlando
we'll
Studios.
See what happens. We're not sure if we'll even talk to them, but, you know, you never know.
You never know. Stranger things have happened.
We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. It's Star 88 FM. What's up, Thebes? Good morning. Jarrett, what's up? Patrick. Welcome to the weekend, guys. Let's get it going. You guys can call in 505-338-3700, and we got a live line you can text in. What's the number?
505-585-LIVE. That's 505-585-5483. Talk amongst yourself.
Yeah, so big show today. Sam Swann, of course, will be joining us at 8 o'clock, and we'll see what's going on with him. We got a letter from a Starmy member. I think it's going to be a good letter because I've been in the situation before where your kids, not even teenage kid, wants to go on a trip across the pond, wants to go to the other side of the world with all of their friends and school, and you as a parent are kind of freaking out. Should I let my kid go? Can I trust the organization that I'm sending my kid with? So that's what the letter's about. We're going to tackle it when Sam Swann comes in 8 o'clock.
Still be in there.
Oh, there you guys are.
What? We're here.
Oh, you're live. Oh, there you are.
You
Look
see
at
how that works? You talk to you talk to the engineer guy, and I just, I got to take care of things for you.
That was
nice.
a miracle. That was like,
You like
I
that?
can hear myself twice.
Oh,
Beautiful.
good. Here you go.
Nope.
Is that better for you, buddy?
How's
Yes.
that?
Okay,
Yes.
maybe.
See?
Much better.
You see this, guys? This is what happens when you get the guy who used to do engineering and national.
That's right.
radio.
You're pretty much an
You know?
engineer.
Just give me the deets, and I got your back.
Come on, dude. The funny part is it was like we were hearing, it's like when someone thinks that you can't hear them, but you actually can hear them, and they
dude,
start
that's the
talking about you
worst.
behind your back.
Oh, man, it's
Like
the
when
worst.
you went live, we started talking, but you couldn't hear us,
Yeah.
and then
Oh.
you proceeded to talk and say terrible things about us,
Just, yeah.
Uh-huh.
thinking that we
It's the
couldn't hear
worst.
you, but we heard it all.
You know,
No.
it's because you're
We heard
frustrated
all about the
'cause
trip
you can't hear
over the
anything.
pond.
Yeah. So
So what are you guys doing? What are you guys up to over there in
We're
Florida?
in Florida. Where are you at?
We're in Albuquerque.
yeah, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're
I'm in
live
Universal
from the
Studios.
Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 Studios. You
Yeah.
guys have fun on all those
Fun.
rides and
what
stuff.
rides are you guys going on
Yeah,
today?
yeah.
Yeah,
The Rattler.
yeah.
And
the ride of our life.
Scorpion.
So
Scorpion.
yeah, how's that radio conference that you guys in non-radio are having? How is it? How is
It's
that?
exciting.
Gosh,
It's
you guys having a
fantastic.
blast there, man.
I
Sounds
wish you
good.
weren't here.
Yeah, it's weird
It's great.
because it's almost like there's technology for two people to broadcast live from Florida.
Yeah.
That's
But
what
they
we're
got-
doing.
It's so
That's
great. Yeah.
literally what we're
YouTube.
doing.
Yeah,
That's
we're
what
doing
Nate and I are
That's
doing.
what we're doing.
crazy.
Well, we didn't. The thing is, we didn't want you guys to have to suffer through the lines.
Yeah,
man.
you know,
Right.
Dex doesn't
And-
like people.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
some of the rides are a little bit scary, especially for guys of weak constitution like you.
Yeah.
So we just didn't want to. We don't want to put that on you.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
get it.
It's sad.
We're just esteeming our brothers higher than ourselves.
It's true. We're taking one for the team, guys.
There
Yeah.
you go. Good, good, man. So what
Yeah.
are you guys doing out there? I know obviously there's like this giant music festival going on as well. Steven's favorite artist, Toby Mac, is playing. I know
And
that.
Red. And Steven's favorite artist,
and
Red. 'Cause
Red.
They have fire.
Family Force 5,
Family
Casting
Force 5.
Crowns, Lauren Dingle,
Or
Dingle.
Sculpture,
Or Lauren Daigle, you know. I'm a
Telling her
man.
you said that.
Clearly
You
a
should.
fan. So
No, I met her last year, and that's what I said to her. I was like, Lauren Dingle. And she was like, I get that all the time.
does
my
anybody
gosh.
come up to you, Steven, and go, so,
Everybody.
You used to be in
Steven is
Amarillo,
famous
right?
here. Steven is
So-
famous here.
do they
Like,
do
we were
they-
in an elevator the other day, and a random guy who we didn't even know walked in, and his buddy was like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And they looked back at us, "Hey, Steven." And then the guy was like, "Who's your favorite in the elevator?" And the guy was like, "Obviously, Steven."
Wow.
And then I got out of the elevator and said, Steven, did you know that guy? And he didn't know that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what happens.
He's just famous here.
Is
Everyone
the,
here
is
knows
the
him.
first question they ask you, Steven, what happened?
Yeah, no.
Heard you're working on worship stuff solo.
They see me
What
carrying. They see
happened?
me carrying my 3 kids, and they're like, "I see what
Yeah.
happened." Doggone
So you guys,
kids.
you guys are
Doggone
out
you
there
kids.
suffering for the Lord. What do we got coming up in this hour on the Morning Invasion?
We got a couple of things, man. It's gonna be a really fun hour for you.
It's going to be
Finally.
Nate and
Yep.
Steven.
Yeah.
Oh,
All right, well,
for
we're
an
going to turn it
hour.
over to you guys.
No,
So
Yeah.
here's
There you go.
here's the thing. Here's the thing with artists.
Uh-huh.
So we had potentially booked multiple artists to come on the show with us today because, as you said, today's Rock the Universe. We've got all
Yeah.
these bands playing this weekend: Lauren Daigle for King Country, Red,
Sarah Reeves.
Jordan Felice, Sarah Reeves, just a bunch of artists. And so we talked to a bunch of them, and they're like, "Yeah, that sounds fun. We'll do it." And then we either didn't hear back from any of them, or we heard from their manager, "Sorry, they're not feeling well.
Yeah.
They probably can't come on the
Or
radio."
they just realize how early they got to wake up, and they're like, "Nope."
Yeah.
That's what I would have done.
Pretty much.
No, but we've been going to the radio conference, sitting in on some of the sessions. Levi Lesko spoke.
Oh, that's
That
cool.
was great.
Yeah.
Also, they had a whole series. Well, not a whole series, but a whole time dedicated to autonomous drivers or driving and how it affects
Teslas.
radio.
Yeah.
How cool is that?
I'm sorry. Is that real?
How it affects
It's a
radio?
real
It
thing.
actually is real. It was real, and it was an incredible session. Did you know that Tesla has already test drove a car from Seattle to Miami by itself, and it's pulled itself over and recharged?
Really?
Yep.
How did it plug itself in?
I don't think
Yeah.
it plugged itself in. I think it was one of those things where those ramps. You know what I'm saying? That
That's
you
crazy.
sit on and basically charge it. I don't know.
Is that real?
That's real.
I think
Yeah,
that might just
if you
be
had
like
been at
No,
the
think about your
conference-
iPhone. Think about your iPhone.
But is that how Teslas work? Do they
No.
wireless
But I'm
charge through
saying
the
I
tires?
think, I think they no. I don't know how they did it.
That's pretty
It's something.
incredible, actually, to think about.
Hey, there's a wizard walking past us.
Oh, there it is. Look at that. We're
Oh,
at
that's
Universal
cool.
Studios.
Yep, there's a
On
guy
his way
wearing a
to-
robe.
on
He's
his way
got a
to
robe on
Hogwarts?
and a hat.
That's cool. I've never been to Hogwarts out in Universal.
Oh, you're missing out.
Yeah,
This is
I
my-
heard it's
I'm
amazing.
kind of bored. I'm kind of bored of it. So
Yeah, you guys
Yeah.
got your fill of that butterbeer and just not okay. That's cool,
But
man.
for real, it's a really interesting topic.
I did the most Christian thing that I could think of when I got here with my kids is I took my kids to get fitted for a wand
Oh,
Wow. Can we say that on the air?
because
No.
Nate can.
that's what you do at Christian music broadcasters.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what was the first spell they did, Nate?
Oh my gosh.
Well,
Expelliarmus this break, or
Next, you guys are going to be watching the Smurfs.
yeah?
the first
And
the
then
first
He-Man, and it's a slippery
first-
slope to Barbie.
the first spell they did was they learned how to spell God.
Yes,
G-O-D.
that's right. Yes, in the air they waved it with their magical wand. That's so
The
great,
entire world just got to I love it. I love it.
dude. That's incredible. We're jealous, of course. We wish we were out there with you guys, but it sounds like you're having a really, really good time. So that's
Dude,
cool.
It's it's been fun. It's funny. We came to this, and I've been hearing everyone in Albuquerque talk about Enneagram. Have you guys done Enneagram yet?
No, I've never heard of this before.
Okay,
my
so
gosh.
Never heard of
listen,
Oh,
Nate,
man.
if you had time to listen to
they're
our
in.
show, we had Christopher Huertz on the show this week. He's the author of The Sacred Enneagram and talked a lot
Is it
about,
really sacred? Is it really sacred?
I mean, he talks a lot about how you can use that to grow your faith, knowing a little bit more about who you are and how you've been created. And yeah, it was a really interesting interview. But what are you? What are you?
Well, so I took it, and I'm a close tie between three of them. I'm a 7, an 8, and a 3.
I think you're an 8.
That's exactly. See, this is why I don't like Enneagram. Everyone tells you, I really think you're this. Everyone tries to psychoanalyze you.
Here's what you got to go back and listen to the podcast. I'm not even being funny because he was on for an hour and he talked about the numbers and how it's about self-examination. So don't allow anybody else to say what they think you are, because
You just did, Steve-O.
ultimately, I know. Ultimately,
Do you know what Jesus was?
What?
Take the Enneagram and put your finger right in the center.
Okay.
That's who Jesus was.
That's what we learned on this Enneagram session.
Yep.
It's pretty great.
Wait, there really was an
No,
Enneagram
literally.
session?
I'm telling you, there's an autonomous
there
car.
wasn't.
I'm trying to tell
there
you.
wasn't a Enneagram session. There was two Enneagram sessions.
That's how mainstream
One
it's
main
become.
session and one breakout session.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay,
Enneagram.
so I gotta know,
Bro.
did you guys sign up for things based upon how weird they were because you had to fill your time since you're quote-unquote working? What's the weirdest panel or discussion you're going to be a part of?
That was.
I think. I wasn't technically part of the Enneagram. I just left all of them to do Enneagram, and I went and ate chips with my kids.
Okay.
Yes.
Literally.
That's what he did. So that
I
was
was
the
like, I'm
weirdest
not doing
meeting.
any of that psychobabble junk. Get out
Oh,
of here.
man.
Get out of here. Stop trying to analyze me.
This is amazing.
Enneagram.
Self-reflection, that's for fools.
I can see myself fine in the mirror.
Whoa.
I look real handsome. That's great.
Where did you guys go with your voices, though?
I don't know. I don't really know.
Don't talk to me about that.
What?
That's our 6:30 a.m.
Yeah, I
wake
was
up
gonna
call
say,
voice.
hey,
I
got
just rolled
here,
out of bed.
I got here at
It's
4 a.m.,
really
guys,
tired
so we
here.
could do this today. So just
It's
so you
really
know,
tired.
got here at
Smells
4
so
a.m.
tired.
So
Smells so
You
tired.
feel
here.
better about yourself. That was 6 o'clock our time, so
Yeah.
that's really not that early.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So stop crying.
Woke up technically about the same time.
yeah,
Yeah.
technically
Yeah.
we did.
Except I put on a golden diaper and came to Universal Studios.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Literally, we were doing
Oh,
around
man.
the same time.
This is amazing. Dexter?
Yeah, if you're just joining us, Nate and Steven are in Florida.
Yeah.
And they kind of they invaded our show.
Yes. It's the
And-
Florida morning invasion.
Yeah.
It's
Taking
the
over.
universal invasion.
Ooh, yeah. I don't know. Universal, huh?
So what do you guys want to talk about?
Like aliens.
I already tried. You guys to shut me down because I'm really into autonomous cars.
Yeah,
You guys
that's
just
real-
blew
no,
that.
I-
We could talk.
I think
Yeah.
it's really interesting, especially thinking about your previous
Steven,
profession.
we pay you to sing, not talk about
Oh
autonomous cars.
man,
Oh, my God.
no! But being a musician, think about
Okay,
that. Like
I don't want to steer the car.
when you were on the road in the beginning, you guys had a van that you all took turns driving. Imagine how that would change for bands that were able to sleep overnight as the little autonomous car
Yeah.
took them to their next city.
Or not having weird bus drivers.
Yeah.
Just having your
Yeah.
bus be something that you plug in.
I'm thinking of all the millions of truck drivers out there. Eventually, they're just going to be out of jobs, which is
Here's
really sad.
my question. Are autonomous cars going to be as dumb as Siri? Like,
Probably
hey,
at first,
car,
yes.
call Janae. Calling Jen. Like, are the cars going to be as dumb as Siri? Because if that's the case, then I don't think I want a smart car.
Wait. Who's
Especially in the
Jen, and why do you have her on your phone?
Yeah, why is
I
she
don't know. I don't
listening?
know. I don't know who Jen is.
I think you do. I think you do. Anyway,
Calling Janae. Playing Beyonce.
Yes, that's right.
That's a better illustration.
That's a better.
But I don't have Beyonce on my phone either. I don't like listen to Beyonce in my free
Dude,
time.
a lot of confession is coming out
I
with you
know.
early in the morning. We need to wake up Nate
does
early.
Beyonce make you think of Jin?
Oh man.
Oh, somebody said trucks just like in the films, in sci-fi films, where they basically drive themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, but you still need somebody like in town, and you gotta. Yeah, there's.
Did they just say the trucks in sci-fi films? Like just in general?
Well, they
like in
mentioned
all sci-fi films?
no, they mentioned a film, but it's rated R, and I don't want to
Oh,
say it because
all right.
Christian radio. So I'm just I went generic with it, sci-fi films, because it's
That's fun.
basically
in
true.
sci-fi films.
In
In all
sci-fi-
sci-fi
in
films,
all
there's
sci-fi
trucks
films.
that drive themselves.
Maybe in 50 years the trucks will be, but I don't think anytime soon. You got to.
Next time I'm watching Sci-Fi Network and there's not a driving truck, I'm going to write in and say, this is false advertising. There was not a driving truck in your movie, Sci-Fi Channel.
You guys want to hear a good news story this morning?
That's awesome. Let's do that.
Okay.
Good segue.
Yesterday was first day of the National Football League, and it's pretty crazy because did anybody watch the game last night? Did anybody actually care?
I watched
Parts.
3/4 of it.
Yeah,
kind
some
of
of
out
it. Some
You
of
didn't
side
watch
of the eye.
3/4 of it. You watched 3 or 4 seconds of it.
That's true.
Did you guys catch that national anthem with Boys to Men?
I did not. No, that's
So
awesome.
good.
We'll play it coming up on the show.
Did
Yeah,
they
we
take a
will.
knee?
No, well, there's already controversy because yes,
Oh,
a couple
no.
players did do that, but we don't want to talk bad football stuff. Here's a good one.
Did we send him to Guantanamo?
No, my gosh, we did not.
That was a mistake.
You can attest to the fact that like sports is pretty powerful. Nate, you and I connected over the Angels. Like, there's just something about sports that can bond people.
Yeah, baby boy.
You're 8 years old. Your name is Donovan, and you're by yourself at a Seattle Seahawks preseason game because somehow, some way, your dad decided to go get stuff and leave you in the seats by yourself. So I guess what happened was this 8-year-old was attending a game, hanging out with his dad, kind of high up in the nosebleeds because they're hardworking Americans and they can't afford real seats. So he's up in the stands and alone for a while. And this junior football team was hanging out, and he noticed this kid just kind of walking around in the stands, fatherless, crying because he was nervous by himself. So I know, right? So this team of junior football players, 8-year-olds, came over to this boy and said, hey, would you like to watch the game with us? And they took this 8-year-old boy, they sat him down in between all the other players, and they told him what was happening in the game to get his mind off the fact that he was alone and his dad wasn't there. So I guess the boy's seats were rather high, and according to his mom, he's deathly afraid of heights. And so this junior football team took him in, and now it's going viral because I guess there was a woman in the stands behind them that took this adorable photo of this football player with his arm around this boy.
That's pretty cool.
Explaining the game that he loves to him, talking about the Seattle Seahawks, captured the moment, and it went viral. And I'm like, there are good people in the world.
That's awesome. Steven does that to me sometimes.
He just wraps his arm around you and
No,
says,
I'm hanging, like trying to hang out with all the cool people, but Steven knows all the cool people, and
Yes.
he's like, hey, little guy, don't cry, come over here and hang out with us.
Yeah, and then I usually, as soon as I call him over, I say, now go get us something to eat.
Yeah, now go get me a coffee,
Now go
grande
get-
latte.
yeah.
Anybody else
2
want
sweet
anything for the
loaves.
little guy? It's great. No.
Dude.
Here's the real question with that story: we don't really ever hear what happened to the dad.
Yeah,
again.
where is
Like,
the dad?
What the heck?
He doesn't need a dad anymore. He was adopted
got a
by
new
a football
family.
By
team.
football players.
a new
That
family.
would have turned out
Football
great for his
He's
life.
Yeah, because
adopted by a
I was
football
thinking the
team.
whole time I was thinking this isn't a touching story. If I was the dad and I got back, I would flip out on some people.
This
Where
is
was
a
my
story
kid?
of a dad
I just went to
abusing
go
a
get a
child
hot
and then
dog.
a football
Yeah.
team kidnapping him
Yeah,
for
pretty
ransom.
much.
Yeah.
No. Okay.
For hot dogs.
We all have young kids. Would you ever leave your 8-year-old in the stands by themselves while you go get food?
No.
Are you kidding me? Yeah.
No, but maybe with a group of adolescent boys.
Yeah, that's not cool at all. I don't like that
No.
story.
Yeah.
You said this was a good news story.
I
This
mean,
is a
I
bad
thought
news
it was a
story.
good news
Feel
story.
bad story.
Gosh.
But it seriously didn't say anything about the dad finding his kid?
No, it's just a cool story about like these 8-year-olds who were like, "Hey, kid, join our gang." It was great.
These 8-year-olds.
I
Wait, is this
thought-
the Lost Boys now? I thought it was a group of like junior high schoolers.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
This isn't Peter Pan.
No, no. So
It's
here,
not like now
okay.
they're like walking around. I am a lost boy.
I guess the mom
from
was supposed to
Seattle.
meet them at the game, and she wasn't there yet. So the dad actually left. Here's the better details to go give the mom her ticket so that she could get into the game, which still is not cool because
Still.
it left the kid alone
Still, you
for
could be
about
like, "Hey, kid,
20
come on."
minutes.
Yeah.
So yeah, the
I know
mom
you're
said,
scared of heights and I can't afford any better seats.
Right.
But sit right here.
because you
You're
have
fine.
tickets. It's not like somebody's stealing your seat. Like, kids, save our seats. I'll be right back. I gotta go get your mom.
Okay, now can we have like honest confession time?
Yeah.
Okay. So last year at CMB, everyone was everyone hangs out after the event and like wants to hang out and talk and like, hey, what's up? And so Janae and I really wanted to go hang out and talk with everybody, but we had 2 kids at Universal with us, so we're like, okay, like the only logical thing to do is put the kids to bed and use our iPhone as a baby monitor and go down and hang out with people while our kids sleep in the hotel room.
It's a great idea.
Oh my gosh.
Not, I mean,
Well, yes.
So did
that
you
the
just
same thing?
did you just FaceTime the phone so that it was there?
well, there's a baby monitor app that you can download on 2 phones.
Oh my god.
And then, like, anytime there's movement, the phone, like wakes up. Now,
Nah, man, totally
now,
cool.
The difference is we weren't in an NFL football field.
Right.
We were in a
You're in a
hotel
hotel.
room and the door was shut
Yeah.
and locked.
Yeah.
Our kids weren't like vulnerable
They're
to
being
adolescent
monitored.
boys.
You're still in the
kidnapping
building,
them.
the 48-story building. So
No. It's not that big.
Okay.
Maybe like
Yeah.
55.
Oh,
And they left the
55.
window open for ventilation.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And kids never just open the door and walk out either.
No, of course
They
not.
never do that.
No.
They never lock themselves out.
Well, we tied him to the bed.
Oh, wow. There
Oh
you go.
my gosh,
You
Nathan!
put leashes on them. That's
I just called you Nathan. That's how you know you're actually in trouble. Oh man.
No, come on.
Amazing.
Have you guys ever done
Nope.
something where you've never left your
I'm
kids?
married to a principal
unattended?
of a child care place. Like, do you honestly think I've never even left the room without them being there? So yeah.
You've never done like one of those, hey, you guys wait here for 1 second. Don't move. I'll
Daddy's
be right
gonna
back.
run. Daddy's gonna
You've
run
never,
in.
You've never pulled that like
I don't know if I want to
Anywhere
admit
for
it.
anything.
I'm the
think-
terrible
I'm
dad
not
that
sure.
makes my kids go in with me every time. Sorry guys, you're going into Walgreens, but it's just Walgreens. I don't care. There's
no, I
bad
don't leave
people
them in
the
the
world.
car because I don't want to see them die. I
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going to say anything.
Come on.
No, I'm not. I don't want to talk about it.
Now,
Where did you
I
leave
will
your
say,
kids?
Man, you know what? There's been plenty of places I've left my kids.
he forgot him at Cliff's one time.
My mom did the same thing to
At
me.
the mall.
All right, when I was
Yeah.
a kid, my mom did the same thing. So I don't know. It must just be it runs in the family, I guess.
There you
See,
go.
now I will say this: we are at a weird place in culture where we're like afraid to talk about this because on the flip side, have you guys heard about this new phrase, lawnmower parenting?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I know helicopter.
You know helicopter
and-
parenting,
yeah.
right? So
Yeah,
helicopter
just let Chip
parenting.
walk by.
Now, lawnmower parenting basically means it's a parent who goes to whatever lengths necessary to prevent their child from having to face adversity, struggle, or failure. And the author of this article that was talking about it was saying that they were called down to the main office in the middle of class. The teacher had to pause class and go down there because one of the parents was there, and so thought maybe there was an emergency, there was a problem, and this parent was there to drop off a 12-ounce water bottle because the kid didn't want to use the water fountain and had no other means for getting water, and he was thirsty. I'm not making this up. And it talks
That's
about
Steven. I feel like that's Steven.
right. So the parent said, "Well, don't they have water fountains at the school?" And the kid said, I don't want to drink from the water fountain. I don't want to get sick." And the parent's like, "Well, kid has to have his water. Am I right?" And of course, everyone else gets frustrated listening to it. But it's this epidemic in our culture right now. Instead of preparing children for challenges, it's called lawnmower parenting because they mow obstacles down so kids won't have to experience them firsthand. So
And that's why we're in a culture that no one knows how to drive stick shift anymore.
I drive a stick shift.
They're discontinuing stick
know.
shift.
Back to autonomous cars.
Yeah. Nate's dad, Skip, was speaking a couple weeks ago, and I don't know if you guys heard that analogy, that story about how that, he said, well, okay, there's a little kid. This is your child, and you're handed his autobiography, and you have 15 minutes to erase anything you want. And he starts out and he says, he goes to a very tight-knit school, but in the 5th grade, one of his best friends dies of cancer, gets into a car accident at 14 and loses his foot, doesn't make it into the college that he wants to go into, finally finds a dream job but loses it shortly after, finds the woman of his dream, but they get separated constantly and back together, separated. He's like, but at the end of their life, they were men or a woman of character, and they were in heaven. He's like, now what part would you erase? And I just feel like adversity is a part of life.
Right.
The troubles, the trials, the tribulations all lead up to where you are today. So I don't agree with lawnmowing parenting.
Yeah, and I think it's so important to let your kids figure that stuff out on their own to a certain extent. If you're always there to rescue them from trial and tribulation, you're really setting them up for greater failure in the future.
Yeah.
It's true. I literally just heard about this guy who all through middle school and high school, his mother did his homework for him.
Stop
and
it.
then listen, and now he's in his 30s, and she still does his taxes for him. And I was like, man,
Stop talking about my story. That was in confidence.
Sorry. Well, I didn't use your name.
That was
okay.
in
So when Nate
confidence.
was young,
He never
his mom
got a
would do his
real
homework.
job.
Never got a real job. But it was just kind of one of those things where it just feels like, okay, but at some point, I feel like early on, it probably started out as a good thing. Okay,
Yeah.
you're a little behind on your homework. Please, here, I'll do this, but you're doing it tomorrow night. And then it slowly just grew into like enabling. That's
Yeah.
crazy. Like,
Yeah, no,
anyway.
that's exactly what this article talks about. And it's like, hey, these parents don't come from a terrible place. They come from a good place, probably. A lot of them experienced maybe shame or failure as a child, or maybe they felt abandoned or were abandoned by a parent or parents in a time of struggle or permanently, or dealt with more obstacles than most. And so as a parent, you don't want your child to go through what you went through. So these lawnmower parents essentially are taking care of all of the problems for you. But the problem is, for a human being who experiences minimal struggle, it doesn't teach them to deal with adversity or problem solve or any of these things. And so you're right. You have these people who are in their 30s that are like, I don't know how to job. I don't know
Yeah.
what to do. And so
What's crazy is you think about, not all famous people, but a lot of famous people, a lot of successful people, when they share their story, they usually come from a family that was broken or just struggled. They went through some pretty hard times when they in their younger years, and I think that's what it created.
I don't want to be like we're a product of our society, but do you think part of that, of parents coddling children more, is a product of like where our day and age is? I was talking to someone about this the other day, and the fact is that when I was a kid, I could go out on a bike at 10 years old around my neighborhood and be gone for 3 or 4 hours, and my parents wouldn't blink an eye as long as I was back in time for dinner.
Yeah.
Like now in our day and age, I would not let when my son turns 10, there's no way in heck I'm letting him ride his bike to the park.
Yeah.
Because of the day and age we live in.
Yeah, but we talked about this before, and honestly, I don't think it was. I don't think it was any different back when we were younger. I just think the internet wasn't around, so we didn't hear about all the bad stories that happened.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah.
Although a member of the Starmy chimed in on the live line, 505-585-LIVE, and said lawnmower parenting is why colleges have safe spaces now. And I definitely think that's true. We have a much softer generation coming up that, as you're reading this article, it's this generation who panics or shuts down at the idea of failure. They just don't know how to handle certain situations, and it's kind of this breakdown. And so maybe for us, we were so resilient back then that our parents knew that we could handle riding our bikes for hours outside because we just had to deal. And now nobody really has to deal with anything.
Yeah.
It's all taken care of for them. So, yeah.
I think it's why sports are so important.
Yep.
And like sports where someone loses.
Yep.
Because I think it's so important for kids to get used to losing in something.
Yeah.
And dealing with that and not being told that, hey, you're great. No. Your team didn't do as well. Your players aren't as good as the other team, and you guys lost because of that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's a big reason why I've always had my kids in sports, because it teaches them how to work together as a team with people that are different than you, because not everybody thinks the same, and it also helps with critical thinking and situations, maybe on defense. But that very thing, failure, especially the game of baseball, Nate. You and I know, we love that sport so much, and it's like the greatest hitters in the world are batting 300, which means 70% of the time they are going to fail at the plate.
Yeah.
But it teaches you to keep going. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the first year that my kids did sports, they did it in a league. They're in Albuquerque, and the whole league over there doesn't keep score. There's not winners or losers. And so the first game, the coach explained that, and I took my son to the side and said, Seth, the coach might not be letting you know who loses and wins, but I will. I'm going to be keeping score, and I will let you know if you lost, and I will let you know if you won.
See, I'm
so
cool
when
with that.
when you lose and your coach tells you you're a winner, I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, man. Remember the Stormy chimed in and said, I'm a former high school teacher and a current middle school teacher. I have had issues with this type of parenting a lot. These kids don't know how to deal with struggle or conflict, and the parents come in to take care of the situation for them, and the kids never learn. They now think everything should be handed to them, and they don't really have to work for anything. Man.
That's why I'm an advocate of the 2019 first annual Hunger Games.
Okay.
Wow.
We need to shape these kids
Survive.
into men and women.
Man. See,
Only way that's going to happen is if they're forced to kill each other for
no,
food.
but
Whoa.
think about this. Somebody chimed in and said, lawnmower parenting was me growing up. It's the one thing I'm angry at my father for. It sucked. It made me the shyest person ever who didn't know how to do anything. I was totally lost when my parents dropped me off at college 9 hours
Yeah.
away.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yep.
now what?
Yeah.
So
My niece did the same thing. She got dropped off at college, and then she hyperventilated and had to go to the hospital because she'd never been without her parents doing everything for her. And then they drop her off, and it's like, okay, sink or swim.
Right.
What?
yeah.
I don't know how to swim.
Dude.
I'm 20 and I don't know how to swim.
That's
Oh,
crazy, man. Yeah,
that's tough.
Here we go,
So
guys.
there's this balance. There's a balance.
Yes, there is a balance. So don't leave your kid at the football game by himself, but don't be a lawnmower parent.
What about the hotel room? We still haven't landed on where
that's
that's
like a
man.
happy medium for you.
Let me ask you another question, because my wife and I are doing Hawaii later on this year, and I have a medallion status on Delta, so sometimes I get upgraded.
Gosh, your life
Is
sounds
it-
so horrible.
Is
I
it
just-
wrong?
man.
Is it wrong if you get upgraded into a better class of seat to leave your kids in coach?
Nope, not at all.
No?
Nope, not at all. That's like a date.
Okay.
You're basically on a
Good.
date, and the stewardess is the babysitter.
I agree. That's my thinking.
Yep.
You're on the same.
That's my
You're on the
thinking.
same plane. Where are they gonna go?
Yeah.
So, yep, absolutely.
I'm
That's
just proud
different.
that I'm glad you're taking your kids this time because last time you just found someone on Craigslist.
Oh, wow.
Hey, watch my kids.
Well, no, I just set up a baby monitor in the room. I
Oh.
left enough food for the week.
He left out some packets of
Enough food for the
crackers.
week. I left the baby monitor, and we just
He
went.
left enough food for one kid, and he was just like, "Here's a sword. Here's
Yeah,
here's a
survive.
sword, some arrows."
We've got Rottweilers to keep them safe.
Oh man,
Fight it out. Winner
Not
takes
everyone
crackers.
agrees with us, by the way. People are chiming in. No, Nate, definitely wrong, bro. So
I don't know. I see. I disagree. I
That
think
was your mom that chimed
I've
in.
actually heard. I've actually heard like numerous people do this because they don't want their kids to grow up feeling like they're entitled to like sit in, like this is very common for people who fly, like have the money to fly first class all the time.
Yeah.
A lot of them will keep their kids in coach because they feel like they don't want their kids to get used to being entitled to flying like in a nicer class.
Yeah.
They want their kids to earn it.
How
Man,
young are we talking, though?
I can
like,
so
what's
relate
the
to
age?
this.
What's
I would
the
say
age?
12, 13.
12, 13.
Okay, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine. But
This
I,
is where
okay,
I- this is
5
where
or
I
6
disagree.
years old. I don't.
5,
This
6,
is where I
like, no,
disagree.
I want crackers.
Kids,
I want...
kids, even like around that age, like once they get in grade school, kids fly frequently by themselves. Like it's a very common thing to have kids fly by themselves to go. Like if the parents are living in different parts of the country, or you're flying your kids to go see the grandparents. This happens all the time
yeah,
where
Wow.
kids fly by themselves.
that's very true. They've got like, and airlines have been really good about recognizing when children are flying by themselves. And different airlines have different terms for it, but they really do take care of them. They have somebody escort them to their family member on the other side. So yeah,
Like so, maybe the age is like okay, like between 6 to 10, the kids have got to be in Comfort Plus. But like once they get to 12, you can put them all the way back to economy.
Yes.
And then once they hit like
I've never
16,
flown anything other than coach, bro. So
once
Yeah.
they
I
hit
don't even
16,
know how to relate to you anymore.
once they hit 16, you can do basic economy where they don't even know what seat they're going to be sitting in,
Yes,
and they
I
have
like
to
that.
pay for carry-on bags.
And if they try to come up front to like get something from you, you're like, respect the curtain, kid.
Yeah.
So what
Right.
do you guys think the age is for children flying alone? Because there actually is a specific age where children are allowed to fly alone. What age do you think
I'm
that
going to
is?
say.
Man, I've seen some young kids.
I'm going to
though.
say 5.
Whoa, I'd say 9.
Nate nailed it.
5?
5?
I've seen some young
That
kids.
is, listen, that's Brody's age.
Yeah.
That
I
means,
don't think
according
about-
to airlines, Brody could travel alone on an airplane. There is no way.
But here, but you
Now,
gotta think, but think
they
that-
get a special tag. It says like unaccompanied minor. And
Okay.
they get no. Check it
I
out.
know.
So one guardian walks them to the gate. Once they get to the gate, they're in the care of a specific stewardess for
Right.
the entire flight.
Yep.
Yeah.
Checking on all their needs, coming over. And from what I've heard, stewardesses really love that. They really love like being able to like like they love having kids, and you'll see it when you're on a flight with your kids. Stewardesses are always so kind to the kids. Like, hey, how are you? Can I get you something extra?
Yep.
So that's what they do. So I mean, they're in constant supervision.
Yeah.
I would say it's no different than if you pay someone to watch your 5-year-old a babysitter for 2 hours.
Right.
That's
Or
not-
drop
you know
them off
what?
at
That's
school
not
with
a
a
bad-
teacher. You know, we trust teachers all the time
Yeah.
to take care of our kids. You know.
So
Yeah.
well, you're talking about people that you know. These are strangers.
Well, they're
Bro,
trained as
with
well.
every
They-
babysitter,
background
there's a
check.
time when you book a babysitter and you don't know them the first time they watch your kids.
Yeah.
That's true.
I
Yeah,
just think
so-
there's no. I mean, hey, there's really no other safer place than an airplane. It's not like they're gonna, hey kid, come to the bathroom. It's like
Right,
there's no,
yeah.
you can't get away. So I think
Yeah.
it's pretty safe.
Yeah, and looking at it as a parent, you do walk them all the way to the gate. Like you actually can go through TSA security with them.
Okay, saying all this, I would never do that. Just
Right.
letting you know. I just, but
Oh yeah.
yeah.
I would never.
So
ever,
my
ever,
mom,
but, yeah.
my mom grew up at like multiple times a year flying by herself as a kid to go visit her dad because her mom and dad were divorced. Her mom lived in Michigan, her dad lived in California, and multiple times a year she would fly by herself or with her siblings who were also kids back and forth to see her parents. And so that was how at least my mom, that's how my mom kind of grew up traveling, was mostly by herself.
Yeah, and a lot of people in the Starmy on Facebook, on YouTube, everybody's chiming in saying similar things. When I was a kid, Trey said, I used to fly by myself from the age of 5 to 14. Thebe said every year he would fly from Kansas to Austin to visit his grandparents. Yeah, so people chiming in saying, yeah, no, I would go, maybe stay the summer with the grandparent, and so...
I never flew by myself, but I was that kid that if my parents got an upgrade or used points like miles to upgrade to a better class, they totally left me in coach.
Yeah.
And I was totally fine with it. Because when you're a kid and you're going somewhere cool like England or something, and the economy seats have like televisions and movies, I don't care. I'm watching Mr. Bean for the next 8 hours on the way to London. I don't care where I'm sitting.
Yeah. And we were talking about these lawnmower parents and how these parents are doing everything for their kids. If you are taking your kid at 5 years old to jump on an airplane by themselves, think about the confidence that does for a kid when they grow up in that.
Yeah.
That's
very
That's
true,
preparing them, for different situations where it's like, I don't need you, mom, dad, I'm going on a flight, 1,000 miles away. I think that grows a kid tremendously.
So I do have these weird peculiarities about it though. Like for some reason, I think if I was doing it, I'd always want to book my kid on an aisle seat. I don't know why, just because I feel like they have better access to get away.
To
than
escape?
To get away. I don't know.
Man. So weird. I'm still would never, ever, ever, ever let Brody go on an airplane.
Yeah, I'd be
alone.
freaking out.
Right.
Yeah, the whole time I'd be freaking out.
But I mean,
Now,
people are
now,
chiming
now,
in
now,
back and
Brody by
forth.
himself, but like, let's say siblings. Let's say you were
Yes.
going to send all your sons like across the country to go visit grandma or something.
Yeah.
And would you be okay with that?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think when we talk parenting, unfortunately for these lawnmower parents, they have a right heart about it because they don't want their children to face adversity, but it's like they're not allowing their kid to grow and develop and take on a personality. For my kids, I know that Jack and Luke could absolutely handle that situation, and I would trust that. Now, there's still some times where it's like, yes or no, depending upon what's going on. Like this weekend, for example, he wanted to go to the state fair, no parents. And I said, dude, I love you. I trust you, but absolutely not. It's the state fair. And he's like, dude, what, you don't trust me to not die? And I'm like, I trust you. It's the state fair, child trafficking,
This is the thing.
gangs.
I
I'm not
won't
even
go.
making money.
I won't go to the state fair by myself.
Right. So I'm like, dude, it's not a matter of not trusting you. And so I had to sit him down and talk to him and explain to him, like, hey, man, this is one thing I'm not going to bend on. So no, you're not going there by yourself to ride rides on the Midway. This
Do
is the
you
first
guys
place
like
I
the state
joined a
fair?
gang. No.
Are you guys a
I
fan?
love the food and I love walking around Manuel Lujan building and I love certain areas, but there are just certain areas where I don't, it's like the other
So,
side of the tracks. You don't
This
cross
is
that
my
side.
issue with the fair. It's the combination of my two least favorite parts of Albuquerque. It's like the ghetto gangsters hanging out with all the country cowboys. That's what the state fair is. It's like rodeos and rap.
He's got
Well,
a- he's got a
yeah.
point.
Yeah, that's true. And Collective Soul this year, though, so I'm going. So,
Okay.
yeah.
So now it's like a bunch of washed up like hippies.
Come on, man. 90s. Steven knows what I'm talking about.
So you're gonna go, but you're not gonna let your kid go?
Okay, I am a grown man, and I know what
no,
to
I
do.
just wanted to clarify.
Yes.
that.
Yes. Yes, Steven.
He didn't say he wouldn't let his kid go to the fair, just not by himself with his friends.
Yeah, he could go with me if he wants
He
to go
can
to
go
the
with mom
fair.
and dad
Yeah.
on a leash.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
yeah.
Fair enough. A little
So-
backpack with a leash on it. I love it. I should totally do that.
So if you guys are just joining us, Nate Heidsick and Stephen Christian, they're out in Orlando, Florida, Universal, and they're
They're
going to
like,
be
guys, we got an
riding
hour
all
until
day.
the ride's open,
Yeah,
so we
they're
want
gonna
to.
No, the ride's opened an hour ago.
Oh.
You're taking away from our ride time.
Oh,
Thank
I'm
you
sorry.
very much.
Well, good news, guys. We're up towards the end of the hour. You guys get to go to Hogwarts now and do all of the
Hey.
Universal things.
Steven and I will drink a butterbeer in your honor.
Gosh, man. You know, we have a tradition at the Jeter house where we make that every year for the Jeter boys and watch the movies, and I'm very jealous. I'm not going to
Yeah, we don't have to make it. We're actually drinking the real stuff
Real stuff.
from Three Broomsticks.
You know what's funny about,
So
about
take
Nate
that.
and I is we've had a tradition for the last 3 years. Go to her.
Go to Universal Studios together.
But I see what you're doing there, and it's cute.
That's pretty great. Man, that's so great. We totally can't relate to your lives at all anymore.
at all.
So get out of here, first class.
Steve-O, can I get like a
Respect the curtain.
picture with with something cool
I
for
want the
you?
T-shirt. Respect the curtain.
That's great.
Sorry. Just know your role.
Yes, please just get us something cool, like on, for us peasants back here in Radio Land who are
Okay.
doing all the radio things.
All right, I'll make sure to go to Walgreens after and get you guys something.
Make sure you guys take notes at all of the panels and everything you guys are doing for the radio conference so that you can come back and educate us on our jobs.
About Enneagram. I'll tell you about
Yes,
Enneagram.
thank you.
Enneagram and self-driving cars.
Yes, I hope we can talk about that some more.
Man, I miss you guys. I wish you guys were here, but I'm glad you guys are having a good time out there. It's cool. It was a fun hour.
Well, we're excited to go see a bunch of Christian bands tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Who's playing?
Name
Who
three.
do we got?
Family Force 5.
Uh-huh.
Toby back.
Zach Williams.
Man,
Culture.
nailed it.
Tripley.
Are they in?
Crowns?
Is the list in front of you?
No.
Nope,
Uh-huh.
definitely not.
No,
Family
okay.
Force 5 at
Definitely not.
7:15 p.m.
Nate already said that.
Jesus Culture
King
Uh-huh.
Richard.
at
Already said
11
that one?
o'clock, 11 p.m. They put the worship. They saved the worship for last.
That's great.
That's late.
Wait, what? They saved the worship
That's
for
I
last?
gotta say that's dangerous because you close your eyes when you worship, and at that hour you might just pass out.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
we might have some accidents.
they were gonna do Toby Mac to close out the night, but being his age, his bladder, it doesn't work out. At that, I love Toby.
Well,
Tell him to say hi.
They have Red
Oh
playing
yeah.
last.
Yes. Red's at 10 o'clock.
See, that's cool. That's good.
Nice.
I
He's
love it.
culture.
That sounds amazing.
They have to have
actually.
it dark for their fire.
Yes,
They did.
Well, yeah.
They do.
Are
That's
you kidding
a rule.
me?
That's on Red's rider. Has to be dark when we play.
I actually got to work their pyro one year at a winter jam.
That's fun.
For Joe. Yeah, Joe Rickard, the old drummer. He actually had it set up on the riser, and he was in charge of it. So I got to hang out back there and.
Well, so technically you were the center of the best part of the show.
Yes.
Because that's why people book Red is because they bring fire with
They
them.
really do bring fire, and so it's red hot. We gotta go.
No.
It's like
We
that's
gotta
in the
go.
rider. Hey, if we book you, you have to bring the fire.
Yes, absolutely. Them and Skillet. That's how. Never mind. Okay. Woo!
All right, Nate, Steven, have fun.
Good to have
Dude.
you guys.
Love you guys.
Love you
Love
too,
you
man.
too.
Have fun out there.
Hasta luego.
All
right.
right, bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye
now.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
You know, what's it like to live their lives?
Hey, buddy, you
What's
and
it
me,
like?
someday. That's
No.
going to be us.
I haven't been out of New Mexico in 10 years. What's it like out there, guys?
You and me, man.
What's
We're gonna,
it like?
You know what? We're
First
gonna
class?
jump on that airplane. We're gonna fly.
Yeah?
We're gonna fly, coach.
Yeah?
We'll make it as far as Kansas.
I just
You and me.
thought first class was like something in the movies.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
didn't realize it
Okay.
actually exists.
You just gotta set those standards, and our parents set really, really solid standards for us. You
Yep.
will always be a working class citizen. You will never fly first class.
That's right.
Don't even think about it. It's like what Nate said.
Beautiful.
Leave your kids in coach so they don't grow up entitled. We're just going to kick it in coach, dog.
That's right.
We're going to ride this out. Speaking of rides, man, they're over rocking Hogwarts. That's cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, we got a big show planned for you guys.
Heck yeah, man.
Sad news, of course. Burt Reynolds passed away yesterday.
Yeah,
so
man.
we'll talk about that. Find out why.
Already have some controversy. It is day one of the NFL season, and Yeah, we got a sitter, not a babysitter. Talk a little bit about the national anthem, but not too much.
Live from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 Studios. We're live on Facebook. We're live on YouTube. Hang out with us. Star 88 FM. We'll be right back.
Slater Transfer and Storage is a Star 88 power partner. Slater Transfer and Storage has been family owned for more than 30 years. They're an Atlas Interstate agent and are certified by the American Moving and Storage Association, moving locally, long distance, corporate, or even international, and providing local storage. Slater Transfer and Storage is located at 6900 Washington Street in Albuquerque. On the phone at 505-345-8841 and on the web at atlasalb.com.
I love the food at the fair. I want to go on a roller coaster.
My wife and I had our first date at the fair.
For 80 years, the New Mexico State Fair has warmed hearts, brought families and friends together, and created lifelong memories. This year, come and celebrate everything you love about the fair.
I really like the animals in the petting zoo. I like the pygmy goats. They're funny.
The 2018 New Mexico State Fair, September 6th through 16th.
The memories are always the best.
Love is in the fair.
This is a fresh thought. Listen up to Levi Lusko.
In fact, 7 shows up in the Bible so often. Someone added them up, and would you believe it? There are 700 instances of the number, God, you're just showing off now, right, in the Bible. And one of those 7s is 7 times in the Gospel of John. Jesus chose to identify himself to us by telling us who he is. And one of those we just read. He is the bread of life. Jesus says who he is in his own words. This isn't someone else talking about him. This isn't like, here's what I think Jesus is like. This is Jesus in his own words. This is Jesus from his own mouth. And he's going to tell us 7 times who he is. And the 7 in the scripture represents completion or fullness, like a full week or like the fullness of the musical scale. He's going to tell us fully in his mouth who he is.
For more fresh thoughts, go to LeviLusko.com. A soundtrack for your soul. This is Star 88 on KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe, and Star88.fm.
Out of your milk, out of your milk. Why do you owe, why do you owe? So more than you got, more than you got. So more than you know, more than you know. The moon's right there in front of me, I can see with my mind. Your moves right there inside of your love, but you're me down. The moon's right there in front of me, I can see with my mind. Inside of your love, but you're holding me down. You're holding me down. Bottle of smoke, bottle of smoke. You follow the grid, follow the grid. But I spell the right, spell the right. Spoil the key, spoil the key. And I just want a glimpse of it with my feet on the ground. And I'm not scared to climb, cause I heard the drone me down. And I just want a glimpse of it with my feet on the ground. And I'm not scared to climb, cause I heard the drone me down. Cause this is the world I'm swimming in, swimming in. And this is the morning when I'm coming undone, undone. And this is the body I'm filling in, filling in. And this is the morning that we both run from, run from. Out of your milk, out of your milk. Where's your mind? Where's your mind? That is surprise, that is surprise. 'Cause this is the world I'm swimming in. And this is the morning where we're coming undone. And this is the body I'm filling in. And this is the morning that we both run from. And this is the water I'm swimming in. And this is the morning where we're coming undone. And this is the body I'm filling in. And this is the morning that we both run from.
The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O on Star 88.
I never made it, but I know what it takes. I'm motivated by a mix of emotion. Got my statement, and I'm reading it slow so I can understand it fully. Appreciate my standing, go out of this world and right on time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tell me to someone who will love me. Yeah, wait, I think I'll last a bit longer. Find another reason to breathe this air. And now we made for ourselves. This won't be the last time. Oh, never in my life have I seen the sky light up like this. I'm far away from Earth and I wanna know if you exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tell me to someone who will love me. Yeah, I know it when I met you. I'm not the only one who's alone. Find me soon and take me home. I know it when I saw you. I'm not the only one hanging on. Tell me to someone who will love me. Oh, never in my life did I wanna see you more than this. And every time you're lost, I wonder if you know you're missed. I'm breathing when I can, and I only hope you're watching this. I hope you know that I exist. Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tell me to someone who will love me. Yeah, I knew it when I met you. I'm not the only one who's lost. Find me soon and take me home. I knew it when I saw you. I'm not the only one hanging on. Tell me to someone who will love me. Somebody pick me up. Somebody find my love. Somebody pick me up. Ooh, somebody pick me up. Somebody find my love. Somebody pick me up. Ooh.
The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O.
Big Jake, how we feeling?
Huge day. I want it now.
No.
Welcome to Friday. Morning, guys. How we doing? Live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. Dex and Steve-O.
Yo, yo, dog.
Starmy, how are you? Is it going to rain today? It looks
gloomy.
No, it doesn't at all. Blue skies.
I feel gloomy.
Yeah, man.
Gosh, pray for this guy. I am not doing well.
Me neither. Oh. I feel like...
Are you making stuff up right now? Are you mocking me, bro?
You're going to get me sick. I just know
I
it.
probably am.
Just know it.
Don't worry, guys. We got a whole weekend to recoup.
Mm-hmm.
Whole weekend.
Live on YouTube, live on Facebook. You guys can join us at Star 88 FM. And phone lines open, 505-338-3700. Sam Swann will be joining us coming up at 8 a.m. Yay! We're going to tackle a letter from a Star Army member. Kind of goes along with what we were talking about in the 6 o'clock hour with Nate and Steven with allowing your kids, like what's an appropriate age to allow them to fly or, leave the nest and travel without a parent. We're going to talk about that coming up after 8 o'clock. So a Star Army member finds himself in that situation.
Can I just say how thankful I am that you're my partner, bro?
Aw, really?
Yeah, totally serious. I
Go
don't
ahead.
think people realize that in this industry, you don't always get to do the job with your bestie.
Oh.
Sometimes you're paid to say interesting words and have somewhat cool on-air chemistry, but
that's good. We do have good chemistry.
You're not really paid to be friends with each other.
Yeah.
We've been friends a really long time.
That's
and
true.
I think that needs to be stated more because, when you've got good chemistry, why mess with it?
Why mess with it?
I'm just saying.
I get it.
Sometimes you can get people in the same room that are professionals that can build a bond or have some kind of natural chemistry, but not always. Case in point. You ever heard of the city called Detroit?
No. I've
Detroit.
never been out of New Mexico. I don't know what it...
I don't want to besmirch the great state of Michigan. However, there's a city in Michigan called Detroit. They've got a baseball team called the Tigers. Tuesday, Mario Mpemba and Rod Allen. They're the co-hosts, if you will, of the Detroit Tigers broadcast.
Yes.
They were on the air together, and they were trying to move some stuff around. And sometimes you deal with adversity. Like, say your bosses decide, hey, we're going to train wreck the whole first hour of your show.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I can relate to that. Yeah.
And so then you're dealing with adversity and you kind of don't know.
Try
it
to
can
overcome,
go one of two ways. You can bond as a team and do awesome things.
Yes.
Or you can get into a physical altercation.
I go with physical altercation all day. Physical? No?
Yeah. The team was absent from Wednesday's broadcast of the Detroit Tigers because multiple sources said they got into a physical fight. Oof! According to WDIV, the altercation occurred following Tuesday night's broadcast. Apparently, the dude left the booth, Mpemba, only to be followed by Allen and allegedly choked him from behind.
Oh, my gosh.
The pair had to be broken up by a third party. However, one of the dude's agents denied the allegations in a statement. Fox Sports Detroit is handling it professionally. They're taking care of it, but we can't talk about what actually
Rear
happened.
naked choked?
Yeah. So according to the report, it was actually a disagreement over a chair in the booth. Grown men.
Well, that's been building for some time.
I mean, Mpemba had been the play-by-play announcer for the Tigers broadcast since 2002. Allen, who spent 5 years in the majors, has been one of the Tigers' color analysts for 15 seasons.
Who attacked who?
I guess they're not close. They're not known to be friends or even nice to each other. There's been tension between the two for some time, and they have opposite broadcasting styles and personalities. And I guess they were fighting over who was sitting in which chair.
Yeah. You know what? I can, on a serious note, I really can relate to this. Back when I started at The Edge, I started a show with, I don't know if you guys know his name. His name's Buck.
Oh,
yeah. But no, there was about 3 to 4 years where we just didn't get along.
Yeah.
I mean, we were fighting every day. He wanted to do his thing. I wanted to do my thing. And we just never could work as a team. We just... It was really hard. It was tough. There were days where I just wanted to quit or, was praying that he'd get fired. And seriously,
Right.
it was tough, man.
Hey, David prayed for God to melt his enemy's teeth. So I get those prayers, man. Sometimes when you're crying out to God, you just say some things.
And I think a lot of it had to do with I don't like confrontation, so I hold things in a lot until I blow up. And so you would see that a lot. And it sounds like that's a situation that happened with these two.
Yeah.
It was over a chair, but it was such a buildup of all these other things that have been going on. You finally you lose it. You snap.
I'm glad we've never done that.
I've never rear naked choked you.
Yeah, you never have.
Yeah. I've never set booby traps for you.
You have not done that either. Although I watched Home Alone as a kid. Did I say Home Alone? Just getting
What's the
nervous.
rating on that?
I'll check.
Hey, good. Thank you for holding. Good morning.
I like turtles.
Oh, hey.
Go ahead.
Hey, did you find me a TV? This is my TV guy. I got a TV guy.
Oh, is this your TV guy?
Yeah.
Working on it. I'm working on it, pal. Hey. So we, in the Peterson home, we watch Mario and Rod all the time.
You do.
And yes, those guys love them. Mario is fantastic. Rod is a great color analyst. Rod used to play.
Yeah, 5 years. 5 years in the majors.
Yep. But I've noticed over the last 3 or 4 years, there's kind of a weird vibe between the two of them. Kind of like what I'm listening to right now.
Oh,
where
really?
You guys, where you guys seem to be friends on the air.
Uh-huh.
But behind the scenes, it's a whole different story.
Oh, really?
It's kind of like having a boss who doesn't really understand your customer and who wants to implement a lot of things that the customer doesn't really like, and you end up suffering the consequences, and you end up being on edge with each other, and then getting fired from the edge. And I don't know where I'm going with this, but I'll just tell you that I like turtles.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
What a weirdo.
Yeah, he is weird. He is definitely weird. But that's what happens when you get flustered. You get frustrated. You don't say words correctly, and you just,
Get out of here. Bill Peterson.
Woo!
Unbelievable.
I know. But he's from Detroit.
He is. You know what?
He
He's
can speak
from
to the
Detroit.
situation every time I'm over there. The Detroit Tigers are on the television.
Yeah,
so
Detroit people are so
he
weird.
definitely knows this duo. But could you imagine? I mean, seriously. They've been doing this
Your
job
co-host
together
chokes
for years.
you out.
Yeah.
And that guy's not a little guy. The guy that got choked out is the smaller of the two.
I know, poor guy. He's just the TV analyst. The former player choked out the TV analyst.
Did they get video of it? Did anybody?
No,
Oh,
because
man.
right now, Fox is shutting it down.
Did he actually choke him out? Or
that's what they're saying, but nobody's corroborating it. And all Fox Sports Detroit is saying is that they are handling it internally. Stay tuned.
Yeah, that's tough, man, because I'm sure a lot of you guys and gals out there are probably in the same situation. You go to work and you're with somebody for 8 hours every day, 40 hours a week, and you aren't clicking. You just can't stand the other person. So how do you deal with that? And I think the turning point for Buck and I was I finally just had to be honest, Like I think it really was just me finally just being honest and just calling him out.
Yeah.
And of course I wanted him to call me out on things that I was doing, and somehow, some way we found that respect.
Yeah.
And things turned around. It didn't happen overnight, but things really did start to change when you start to be honest and with your feelings instead of holding them in or just kind of, I don't want to deal with it. A lot of people do that. They don't want to deal with anything. They just want to sweep it under the rug,
Yeah.
Confront those people, man. It's hard. I get it. But I think most of the time when you do, it's gonna work itself out.
Yeah, this one's definitely going to work itself out with the firing of one of the two.
Yeah, wow. I mean, yeah, you know what? I guess
Dude placed
the guy
his
that
hand.
the guy that choked,
out.
he should be fired for sure.
You
don't
can't
do that.
lay your hands on somebody.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Well,
Football is back.
it is. He was back last night, guys.
It is back tonight.
Well, it was last night.
And it is on NBC and the problem.
All right, thank you. Yeah, last night we had the Falcons taking on the Eagles in an epic battle. I guess it was a pretty good game last night.
Yeah. If you like boring sports. It was not a great game.
Oh, really? What? It wasn't?
No, I was bored to tears.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty bad as far as games go.
I guess the Eagles hung on for an 18-12 win. But, yeah, a lot of people, I guess, were tuning in to see the national anthem.
Yep.
Would they even air the national anthem?
I wasn't sure if they were going to because ESPN has already stated that they are not a political station, so they're not going to air it. But this was NBC last night, so everybody's going, what are they going to do?
What are they going to do?
They got some hometown boys from Philly.
Well, last night, of course, they aired the game. Well, the national anthem.
How do I see by the dawn's early light?
Boys to Men.
Was so proudly we hailed
Where's bass?
at the twilight's last
Why is he walking around? Why is his hand out on his heart?
Oh. That sounds lovely.
Do you like this?
Did I like it? I was standing at attention, bro, like, yeah! Here we go!
Yeah.
Kill it!
And the rockets ringing.
America! Do it, girl, do it!
Nice.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave?
America.
O'er the land of the free.
Wow.
And the home of the
Dude!
Boys to Men.
No, seriously, bro. I lost my mind last night. I'm not even joking. I don't even care. I don't even care. It's like, okay, you've seen a national anthem. You've seen all national anthems. And then last night, Boyz II Men was like, excuse me. And I was like, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Boyz II Men. I'm biased. Growing up, dude, Boyz II Men was my jam.
Yeah, right?
Loved Boyz II Men. So.
Well, when the actual anthem was performed, all players on both teams stood.
Well, yeah, that's the rule now.
But there were two players.
Oh.
Two players, guys. Philadelphia Eagles defensive end, Michael Bennett.
Of course, Michael Bennett.
Apparently, he was kind of walking. He was wandering around near the bench.
Mm-hmm.
In the first part of the song.
He looked restless. He was walking around. He was not into it. Yeah.
And then the Eagles running back, was it Jay
Ajayi?
He sat down toward the end of the national anthem. So what does that mean? Does that mean are they going to get in trouble? Are they going to get fined for that? Because the NFL has new rules now. You will stand at attention. There will be no kneeling. So, I mean, they didn't kneel.
And here's the thing. Other notable Eagles who demonstrated last year, Malcolm Jenkins, he's the safety. He stood this year. Last year, at one point when it was like, hey, don't take a knee, he raised a fist during the anthem. But he did not do that this Thursday. He stood respectfully on the sideline. So they were looking at these players. Now, I will say this to NBC's credit, they did not show that on the sideline. We did not know about this until this morning when it hit the news that, yeah, man, Michael Bennett wandered around looking restless, and then towards the end of the national anthem, sat down on the bench. So,
wow, yeah, there he is, sitting down on the bench.
Yeah,
huh? That's so disrespectful.
Yeah.
It
So
really
he was the only player. Now he did demonstrate during the anthem for much of last season when he was with the Seattle Seahawks. Yeah, and he did that because he had an altercation with police officers in Las Vegas that he believed were singling him out for being a black man in the wrong place at the wrong time, end quote. They used excessive force. And so after that, he had decided to kneel during the national anthem because he wanted that voice to be heard, like, hey, there is racism. Hey, there is police brutality. And yet this year, so far, I mean, one game down, unfortunately, like, that was a big one. You know what's interesting along those lines? Last night, Nike finally aired their new commercial, and it was a huge hit with consumers. What's funny is I was watching it last night, and I said, ooh, have you seen this commercial? I didn't say anything about it, and Chrissy watched it, and it was like, oh, man, it's inspiring. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then it gets to the end, and it's like, whoo, and it's like, nope.
There it is.
And I'm going, but it was such a good commercial right up until that point.
Yeah.
What changed your mind, I wonder? According to a leading advertising consulting service, the first commercial registered as a big hit with consumers last night. It's called Dream Crazy. It's an ad. It scored high marks with a broad base of the consumer population, according to Ace Metrics. It's a company that provides real-time impact and analysis data surrounding major advertisements. It was aired during the game, and yeah. 90% of advertisements traced by them are found to be more polarizing among viewers. And what's significant about this is on the polarity score, this tracked across the board is positive.
Well, of course,
weird.
It was a positive commercial. It was a really good commercial.
Yeah.
You take the whole pumpernickel thing out of it, and it's a great commercial. I mean, even with him in it, it's still a great commercial.
It is.
But because it really shows, even if like there was a point where it showed a LeBron James, dreaming to be the best basketball player. But you know what? How about you take it a step further, and it showed him opening up that school for kids.
Yeah, it was really interesting. So, the positive impact of this advertisement has not been the only good news for Nike this week because, everybody's burning their Nikes. According to Apex Marketing, which analyzes the value of social media impact on brands, it reported since then, we mentioned the first 24 hours. Since then, in the 3 days since all of this has happened, the buzz equated to $163.5 million in social media marketing and positive brand reaction value. Yeah.
No such thing as bad publicity, guys.
Apparently not,
well,
dude.
That's not 100% true.
So, yeah, it's not
But
not
in this situation, I think it's only positive for Nike, honestly.
Yeah, which is funny because when we teased it at the end of the last hour, we immediately got a few memes coming in, but the one big one
memes are hilarious.
It was an obituary of Nike, and it says 1964 to 2018 died of colon cancer. But that's not been the case so far, which is really
my favorite is the picture of somebody with their Nike shoes, and they're taking tape and they're making the Adidas symbol over the Nike. Have you seen that one? Oh my gosh, they're changing their Nikes to Adidas.
So now I have a dear friend chiming in right now who's very mad at me. Her name's Chrissy. Because it's like, you didn't say the reason. She doesn't like it because they put up all these incredible athletes like LeBron James and Williams and all of these people who truly have achieved like the best success in their field doing what they do. And it's like, but what has that guy done? He rode the bench and hasn't done anything. So they're talking about like becoming the best in your field. That dude's not even like mediocre at best in his field.
Right.
And so I was like, yeah, that's a really good point.
Yeah.
So I understand that. So
and at the same time, I mean, he played in the NFL. I mean, that's
he did. He made it to the NFL.
That's an accomplishment.
He made
in
it
itself.
to the Super Bowl, and then he just kind of fell apart. So I get that. I get both sides because it's like, well, he did make it to the NFL,
Right.
but I think one of the hard things that people just have a hard time getting over is the fact that it's like, here's a dude who was raised by white parents in a very wealthy neighborhood. You know what I mean? And it's like, we understand, but maybe get a different spokesperson.
Yeah, we talked about this with Brian yesterday, and I loved what Brian said. It was, if he would have figured out another way to do it rather than taking a knee, and I get the story where he talked to an actual, a soldier, a guy that was in the military, and he was the one who recommended him taking a knee.
Mm-hmm.
And
Most
I get
people-
that.
yeah.
But at the same time, we're all ignorant. In America, we don't get the story. We didn't hear it 100%. He was terrible at telling the public why he was doing it. So we just immediately jump and think, oh, my gosh, the disrespecting. He's not supporting the troops. And that's not why he did it.
Yeah.
He supports the troops. But, yeah, he should have figured out another way to do it.
Yep. So,
But look at what it's doing. Look
right.
at what his message did. We're still
Yeah.
talking about it 2 years later.
And love it or hate it, the commercial featuring Colin Kaepernick urging viewers to dream crazy and believe in something registered in the top 10th percentile of Ace Metrics polarity score. So if you're wondering, like, well, how can you measure the good and the bad? Like, this literally is what these brand agencies do. They go in and it's all metrics. We have a good friend who actually works in this industry, and it's crazy the way that they can get analytics. But according to the data released by them, it saw strong resonance among Generation Z and millennial audiences. Oh, of course. Yeah, older viewers, those among Generation X, positively regarded the ad as well, but to a lesser degree than those younger than them. Ace Metrics polled consumers on how Kaepernick's signing would impact their plans to spend money with Nike, and 13% of those surveyed, 13 said they were less likely to purchase from Nike. That percentage was down to 10% among millennials and 6% among Generation C. Conversely, a staggering 56% of those surveyed after seeing the ad said that they were now more likely to purchase from Nike because of the commercial. 56%! It's like, whoa, dude. I mean, it's a good commercial, but we're in this crazy world where you see a commercial and it's like, I was not planning on buying sneakers, but I'm buying those.
Right.
It's like, what?
Yeah, Winifred,
cool.
she lives across the pond over in England, and she just chimed in on Facebook and was wondering, I don't understand, why is taking a knee so disrespectful during the national anthem?
It's divisive here even.
It is. It's very, for me personally, and I think that the way that I think about the national anthem, I think a lot of Americans feel the same way. From a young kid, we were taught to stand and place your hand over your heart.
Yeah.
Stand at attention.
That's the first thing they said last night on the broadcast.
Right.
And now,
please
to honor
rise.
America, please rise for the singing of our national anthem.
And
gentlemen, please remove your hats.
And it's a time during the national anthem to remember the sacrifice that the men and women have, given to give us the freedoms that we have. We have the freedom we have because of the military, because of these men and women who have put their lives on the line and died and sacrificed limbs and put themselves in harm's way so we could have them. So for somebody to take a knee during the national anthem, I think the majority here in America look at that as so disrespectful.
Yeah.
Because we're taught that it's to remember those. We have the freedoms. America is a beautiful country because of the people that sacrifice their lives. So I don't know. Would you agree with that? Do you think that that's the majority?
Yeah, absolutely. So, and of course, people are chiming in like, if you wanted to put a hero in there, you should have used Pat Tillman. He played for the Cardinals, and then he was like, I'm going to give all
after
of this
9/11,
up.
right?
Yeah, I'm giving all this up. He joined the military and sacrificed his life overseas for this country because he believed in this country. So I definitely understand why not Colin K. But it's like going back to Winnie's question from the UK, like, why is this divisive? It just is because according to, something we were talking about yesterday, it was actually a retired Army Ranger who suggested to Colin Kaepernick to take a knee. Like, hey man, don't sit on the bench, because people were really mad that he sat on the bench. It's like, do something. When I go to my buddies' grave sites, I take a knee and bow before them. So take a knee. And so he took a knee thinking he was being, quote, respectful protesting, but it just hasn't worked out. So if you missed the conversation yesterday, I mean, we went in depth with B-Nix.
Go back. We're on demand. You guys can chime in 505-338-3700. Good morning.
Hey, guys. It's Megan in Roswell.
Hey, Megan in Roswell.
Hi. So the way I see it as disrespectful is because, like, you know, when you're at church and the pastor brings in like a guest speaker and it's somebody who's done great things and you give them a standing ovation, right? Well, it's like, that's like what we're doing with our military. Like, we're giving them the standing ovation that they deserve, like applauding them for what they've done and giving them that respect. Well, when you're kneeling during the national anthem, players kneel when somebody gets hurt, right?
Right.
So are they saying that our country isn't that great? Like, that our country isn't in a good spot? So that's kind of how I view it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for chiming in. Yeah, I think just, you know, people have different views on how they look at it, because you're right.
yeah.
Taking a knee could
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
you know
Kid
what?
gets beamed and it's immediately like, take a knee.
Yeah.
In Little League, you
Our
know, and
country
everybody's kneeling for. Yeah.
is broken right now, and we need to fix it. Let's take a knee. It's not necessarily like a disrespectful thing towards the military, but more against, you know, the government.
Yeah.
You know, the police force.
And we're not even saying that's right or wrong. It's just this is what it is, and this is where we're at, and that's why I'm glad Winnie's chiming in from England, because it's like I can't imagine across the world what people think when it's like this is the biggest news story right now.
Yeah,
dudes are not standing for the national anthem, and I don't want to disrespect that in any way, shape, or form, because man, for me, I went to the same military school my father did, and his name was etched in stone there because he was one that was an alumni who died. And I remember every night before bed, Taps plays, and I was always, it didn't matter what it was. You didn't have to be at attention in your room. If you were in your room already, you didn't have to. But wherever I was, whatever I was doing, I would stand and face toward where those stones were, out of respect for my dad.
Sure.
And so I absolutely get the passion and heart behind people who are so irate over it, because it's like you are disrespecting men and women who have fallen for this country. But on the flip side, I also understand why some are saying, yeah, but they died to give us the freedom to kneel if we in this country if we want to. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like and so man, it's crazy, but there will always be bias on both sides, and we're not at a place in our culture, in our nation, where we can actually have respectful dialogue back and forth over our disagreements. We just rant and create memes and fight, and it's insane, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah, a lot of people chiming in. What did Stephanie say? Because I couldn't read the whole thing. She was saying she looked at it completely different.
She said, I've never thought of me standing up was for the military, honestly. Yes, our country is hurt. Yes, people are hurting. She says she stood up because it's respectful of my country more than the military. She's always just looked at it as America. And the funny thing is, like, talking about this, baseball games where we're at, if the national anthem comes on, even Brody, like 5 years old, I'm like, psh, hey, hat off.
Yeah.
We put our hand over our heart. But he's never been like, why? And if he asked me that, I'd be like, out of respect for the flag.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, think about it. I was sitting here thinking about
that's what I was told.
Soldiers, think about, man, they will die for that flag.
Yeah.
You know? They will die for that. You know, they live for that thing, you know? And it's because that's why they're doing what they're doing. They've joined, most of them have joined because they believe in the freedoms.
Yeah.
And they want to protect. They want to serve. Yeah. And so that's everything for them. And so whenever I'm standing at attention, I'm just remembering that man, this is a beautiful country.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's messed up, of course. We have a lot of problems, but at the same time, so many people, millions of people have sacrificed their lives to give us what we have today. And we can do this radio show and be idiots because of those men and women.
Yeah.
You know?
Somebody says, we do have the freedom in this country to express ourselves through protest, speech, and actions. However, just because you can do something does not mean you should do it. Yeah.
Yeah, what a conversation it started, though. You know?
Well, what's interesting about that is somebody chimed in and said, but this is the biggest bummer, that the conversations are about standing and kneeling and not about the actual injustices that he was trying to protest for in the first place.
Yeah, right?
It's not talking about racism. We're not talking about police brutality. We're not talking about these injustices and oppression of the poor and all these different things that different people have stated, this is why I'm doing it. We're talking about the simple standing or kneeling. And I agree that, man, it kind of took over and that became the conversation.
Right. And for me personally, I just think that there could have been another way. I don't know what that other way is, you know, because, I mean, look at what it's caused. You know, him doing this has caused, you know, what it's caused. But at the same time, you're right. We're not even talking about the police brutality. We're not talking about the corrupt government. You know, we're just talking about, hey, that's disrespectful. You need to stand at attention.
Yeah.
Because I think it goes back to what I said. I think a lot of people in America look at it as disrespectful towards the military and not necessarily towards the government.
Right. It's all miscommunicated, poorly communicated, which is what Beanix was saying yesterday. Go back and check it out on the podcast. An amazing conversation with Beanix about this, and when and if we do decide to take a stand for anything, to clearly articulate what we're doing, because it was miscommunicated from the beginning. He wasn't necessarily the best spokesperson. He didn't articulate his cause very well, and because of that, it's a mess.
Yeah.
It's a mess.
All right, thanks for chiming in, guys. We got to take a break. Sam Swann joining us at 8, hanging out live on Facebook and YouTube at Star 88 FM. We'll be right back.
Philip DeCourcy warns us of the dangers of doing it alone.
If you want to know if you've gone from good worry to bad worry, I think this will help. Number one, bad worry's marked by constant distraction. It's one thing to be concerned about something, but to be preoccupied with it to a point where it distracts you, then you know it's good worry gone bad. Because the word for worry in this passage is 2 Greek words, divided mind. And worry at its worst leads to distraction, where you can't focus. So if you're constantly distracted by something and you can't leave it with God and you haven't given it up to God, you keep coming back to it where it disturbs your peace, that's probably good worry gone bad. Number 2, it often evidences itself in diminished trust. Because Jesus will say in a moment, you have little faith, I've got something to say to you.
That's your PowerPoint on Star 88.
For over 40 years, La Salita Restaurant has been serving New Mexican food to Albuquerque. From starters like soups, salads, and Cindy nachos to entrees like chili rellenos, burrito de Eduardo, the BOG burrito, and carne adobada. La Salita is friendly to those who are vegan or gluten-free and offers catering, as well as a rewards program at 1950 Wansabo or online at lasalita.com. Star 88 thanks La Salita for their support.
I love the food at the fair. I want to go on a roller coaster.
My wife and I had our first date at the fair.
For 80 years, the New Mexico State Fair has warmed hearts, brought families and friends together, and created lifelong memories. This year, come and celebrate everything you love about the fair.
I really like the animals in the petting zoo. I like the pygmy goats. They're funny.
The 2018 New Mexico State Fair, September 6th through 16th.
The memories are always the best.
Love is in the fair.
John Wesley on a solar flare. Give me 100 preachers who fear nothing but sin and desire nothing but God. And I care not whether they be clergymen or laymen. They alone will shake the gates of hell and set up the kingdom of heaven upon earth. Star 88.
the city lights, just like the city lights. Just like the city lights. You're the brightest. You are lighting up the night. You're the wonder, bringing color to our lives. It's your love in us. Oh, it's your love in us. Oh, we're gonna burn bright like the city lights. We're gonna burn bright like we've come alive. We've come alive, and the world needs to know the hope that we hold. Love is breaking through the darkness. We're gonna burn bright like the city lights, just like the city lights. Just like the city lights. Your love is a fire. Your love is a fire. We will never be the same, and our hearts cannot contain. Your love is a fire. Your love is a fire. We will never be the same, and our hearts cannot contain. Your love is a fire. Your love is a fire. Oh, we're gonna burn bright like the city lights, just like the city lights. We're gonna burn bright like we've come alive. We've come alive, and the world needs to know the hope that we hold. Love is breaking through the darkness. We're gonna burn bright like the city lights, just like the city lights. 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 The city lights, like the city lights. Just like the city lights.
What's going on in the news today?
Top officials inside the president's own administration denying he or she wrote that blistering op-ed in the New York Times.
Burt Reynolds died today at 82. Cannonball Run made Reynolds the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
Ford is recalling about 2 million F-150 pickup trucks.
Because the seat belts can cause fires.
After a massive cyber hunt, the U.S. announcing charges against a North Korean spy for hacking Sony Pictures 4 years ago.
A frightening shooting in downtown Cincinnati. A man with a 9mm handgun opened fire at a bank building, killing 3 people and wounding 2 others.
Another major fire burning in California.
It shut down a major interstate near the Oregon State line.
Nick Foles for the Eagles facing Matt Ryan and the Atlanta Falcons. It's a playoff rematch. Game on, and the NFL's 99th season is on.
Yeah, I was pretty bummed when I saw the news yesterday that Burt Reynolds passed away. He was 82 and had a heart attack. I guess there was a 911 call. It's out there. I don't know why people like to listen to those, but
I know, right?
I guess the guy was there with Burt. He was talking to the operator, the 911 operator, about how he was having trouble breathing. He had some chest pain. He was awake, but wasn't answering questions. And I guess Burt had open heart surgery back in 2010. And in 2009, he went to rehab to regain control of his life. He was addicted to painkillers after having back surgery. And he, of course, it's funny. I was showing my kids. I'm like, you guys know who this is? And they're like, no, don't know who Burt Reynolds was. Yeah. Well, he was huge, of course, back in the 70s.
Yeah.
Gunsmoke. Cannonball Run was, that was.
Smokey and the Bandit, bro.
Right, Smokey and the Bandit, too. You're right. Both those were just, man.
Don't say it. Hold on. Let me check the rating.
Oh, check that rating real quick.
When I was a kid, I wanted that Trans Am. PG.
PG.
Sweet.
Yep. I know, right? I did, too.
Perfect. Yeah. He was pretty cool when I was a little kid. I just remember thinking he was like the coolest dude.
Yeah, and he had such an infectious laugh. Love it. I went through every Burt Reynolds movie and made a montage.
Okay.
Hold on, we got a little bit more here. Took me 2 days to put this together. And it's weird, I didn't even know he was going to die yesterday. I put it together. Doesn't that make you want to laugh? Come on, man. I love it.
Wow. Him and Dom DeLuise, man. Cannonball Run.
That was the best picture.
Also
ever.
1980s.
I loved that one. It was so good.
There you go.
Yeah, his last role was in a movie called. Check the rating on that one. Probably can't announce that one. He was married twice. Once to Judy Carn, 1963 to 1965, and then to Lonnie Anderson. And I guess he went bankrupt in 1996.
Really?
Yeah. But yeah, he looked. 82. It's. He looked pretty.
Aged.
Pretty aged.
Yeah. Had a pretty crazy life.
Man, he looks like a wax figurine.
Mm-hmm.
Burt Reynolds, everybody.
Yeah.
Had I guess, you could say he had a pretty good life. You'd have to ask Burt, but it seems like he did a lot of great things. All right, you guys can chime in. Facebook Live, YouTube Live at Star 88 FM. You guys can give us a call, 505-338-3700, if you'd like to chime in, be a part of the show. We got Sam Swann coming in at 8. We're going to tackle a letter we got from the Starmy. She needs some parenting advice. I'm not sure if she wrote into the right show, but actually, she did. Sam.
What are you talking about?
Got Sam. He's raised a tribe of girls and boys, so we'll be able to. How many? Jesus has one boy, right? Is it 2 boys and a girl? Is that what Sam Swann has?
2.
2?
2 boys.
2 boys.
Yeah, 4.
4. Oh wow, 2 boys.
Yeah.
2 girls.
Yeah. It's
perfect, man.
I know.
So perfect.
So great.
Yeah, so we'll tackle that coming up here in just a little bit. Let me throw some good news on you because marriage, it should be fun, right?
Yeah.
We should have a good time with our partners.
Yeah.
Does Chrissy ever prank you?
Prank me?
Yeah. She seems like she'd be a prankster.
In what universe?
Not even close, right? What about you? You're such a prankster.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You are just such a prankster.
Yeah.
I want to share a story about a woman in England. Her name is Charlotte. She's married to Daniel, and she decided to prank her husband last week that they hit the lottery for $300,000.
Oh.
Of course, she laughed. He was upset because he believed her. And, my wife is such a prankster. Well, a few days later, she called him at work and claimed, she won an even bigger jackpot. Can you imagine what the husband did? How do you think he reacted? He didn't believe her. He actually passed the phone off to someone else. So, you know what? Hey, you mess with Bob here. Turns out they had hit the lottery for £1 million.
No.
Or just under $1.3 million. They claimed their prize last Tuesday, and I guess they're planning on buying a bigger house, and they have 3 kids. They're excited because now they get to be spoiled, rotten little brats. Yeah, your wife pranks you a few days before you. that you hit the lottery, and then if she goes and buys another lottery ticket and they win.
What? I'd be so mad. I'd be like, stop it! It wasn't funny the first time.
Look at her just laughing. Like, it's so funny. This guy's so miserable. He's like, I'm just so sick of my wife pranking me all the time.
It's like, you've gone too far this time.
Gone
Look
too
at this.
far.
You set up an actor and a giant check. Gosh.
Yeah, what if it comes out that she set it all up?
Again?
Yeah.
Honey, I'm just kidding. We actually really won this time. Look at this giant check they're giving us. Just kidding. This guy's a hired actor. I got him on Craigslist.
She sets up a whole set that they're at the lottery headquarters with actors. Yeah. Is that grounds for divorce?
Rodney says lottery pranks are very, very dangerous.
Lottery pranks are dangerous?
Yeah.
Why are they dangerous?
Because think about that, man. Somebody says, yeah, I've seen one years ago. A guy got pranked. It was devastating, and he definitely was lashing out with words.
Yeah, that would be pretty. That is a messed up prank. Because if you came in, if anybody close to me in my life was freaking out that they won the lottery, oh my gosh, I'd be freaking out.
Yeah.
I'd probably pass out. I'd probably hyperventilate. I'd be so happy.
Yeah.
And then to get the news. Oh.
Yeah, because what do? You're like unhappy. Your wife tells you guys just won the lottery. You know what you're doing? Yeah, can I speak to Chip, please? Yeah. Hey, man, hold on. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people who are unhappy with their jobs would immediately call their bosses and say things.
Right.
And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm just kidding. And you're like.
Actually, honestly think that just that happened.
And you're going.
We read a story. I don't know if it was this year or last year. That happened.
I called and
somebody did that. They quit their job.
Words to my boss.
They quit their job and found out that they actually didn't win. It was the week before number or something. Like they thought they had won and they didn't.
Why we have a good job because we'd still be doing our job with golden microphones.
Golden microphones?
Yeah, man.
I
makes your voice sound
one
more
that
buttery.
You can echo your voice in.
That's cool.
Yeah. Cool, man.
Yeah. Be real cool.
Yeah.
Just dream it, man. Just dream
Let's
it.
prank Sam when he comes in.
We're telling him we won the lottery.
Let's prank
He's
him.
out at the back door.
I don't think we
listening.
can use that one.
Pretty
but
sure
we
he's
should totally
listening.
prank him.
Yeah, we can't do that now because you can't tell somebody you're going to prank them right before you prank them.
That's true.
So
that is true.
Yeah.
Sam, you better watch it. I set up some booby traps for you, bro.
Somebody said, no way. This is not messed up or dangerous. Completely hilarious.
Yeah, but some of the you've watched some of those videos that have gone viral of the boyfriend or the husband, wife, and I'm surprised that some of these people are still alive because some of the pranks that they pull on their partners are so crazy.
Yeah.
So insane. Oh. Yeah, if you pulled any of those pranks on your wife or husband, especially your wives, you'd be dead.
Oh gosh. I just can't imagine what would happen. Like thinking about the people who would seriously probably quit their jobs and do all these things. And it was like, honey, I was just kidding. Lottery pranks. Not cool, man.
Just pranking, man. I was just pranking.
I was just joking. Well, cool.
We're going to prank some people coming up. That's what we're going to do. We're going to pull off some pranks. 505-338-3700 if you'd like to call in. What's the live line to text in?
505-585-ALIVE. It's 505-585-5483.
Kind of looks like Seth McVeigh.
That's funny.
Wait, is that the McVeigh? And happy anniversary to those two. All right, we got to take a break. Sam Swann joining us next. We'll tackle a letter together. Of course, chime in. We're live on Facebook and YouTube at Star 88 FM. We'll be right back.
This is Groundwire with Sean Dunn. Have you ever known someone with a voice that can pierce through a din of cheers at a pro football game? I'm not talking about volume. What grabs you is their pitch. It sounds like someone pulling a cap through a knothole backwards. It's the kind of voice that your friend's mother used when she wanted him home right away. You could be playing a mile away, but when his mom belted out your friend's name, he knew exactly what he needed to do. Get home as quickly as possible before his mom breaks all the glass in the neighborhood. Some people think that God has a voice like that. You better get in line or he will nag you until you straighten up. The Bible says many things about God's voice. In one place it says that he talked in a gentle whisper. When you want to say something very personal or communicate more intimately with someone, that's when you whisper. God has something very personal he wants to communicate with you. Listen carefully, because he's softly telling you that he loves you.
For more, log on to groundwire.net. Groundwire.net.
Pastor Jack Graham and a Star 88 Supernova.
So much strife in our life today. Argumentation and anger and frustration and irritation. And often we bring that stuff home. And often our words reflect the stress of the pressure cooker in which many of us live, and we go home and unload on the people that we care about the most, using our words as weapons rather than winsome and loving expressions. We ought to encourage one another. Proverbs 12:25 says, anxiety in the heart of a man causes depression, but a good word makes it glad. Sometimes when a person is down, maybe your wife, your husband, it's the right word, the good word that lifts the spirits.
Catch Pastor Jack Graham, PowerPoint, broadcast weekdays at 10:30 a.m. on our sister station, KNKT.
Even when my light burns low, I could never lose my hope. I've been down this road before. Now I know which way to go. You can try to drag me down, but I'll be living in the clouds. Everybody has their doubts, but you can't stop now. You just gotta live. You just gotta live. You just gotta live.
Yeah. I want it like I need to breathe. Yeah. Make it clear like I need to see. Woo. As a kid, mama told me sky's the limit till you hit it like King Griffey to the fences. Out of there, out the park, hit and run, that's my drive. It's a fight, been that way all my life. Yeah, I shut it down when I shine with the crew. Yeah, I ride with the crew, gave my life to the truth. Testify, walking water like the son of man. Understand, I'll never drown. Take a hit, never quit. Might be down, but never out. There are days that I fail, and the train's off the rail. Through the pain we prevail. Tell them you just gotta live.
Even when my light burns low, I could never lose my hope. I've been down this road before. Now I know which way to go. You can try to drag me down, but I'll be living in the clouds. Everybody has their doubts, but you can't stop now. You just gotta live. You just gotta live. You just gotta live. Even when my light burns low, I could never lose my hope. Just gotta live. Everybody has their doubts, but you can't stop now. You just gotta live.
Living till there's nothing left. Lean on. We need you like there's no one else. Ain't nobody out here more like you. And with you that broke the mold, and ain't no more like you. That's for sure. I can't drop out like the top down on the coat. Tell them watch out when I walk, I make a move. Sunday morning with my hands up, like they got the handcuffs. Searching for some answers since mama passed the cancer. And my sister left Seattle with a one-way ticket home. Hope she holding Jason, teaching him to speak some more. Gotta keep it going. Yeah, that's all it told me. Tell them you can make it when you know the one and only.
Burning right beyond the fire. You were born to win, yeah, you're a fighter. Don't let your light just fade away. You just gotta live.
You just gotta live. You just gotta live.
You just gotta live.
You just gotta live.
I just
Music with more than a beat. Vertical worship, Christian hits, and fresh indie on Star 88. KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe.
When everyone you thought you knew deserts your fight, I'll go with you. You're facing down a dark hall, I'll grab my light and go with you. I'll 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 go with you. Surrounded and up against the wall, I'll shred them all and go with you. When choices end, you must defend. I'll grab my back and go with you. I'll go with you. I'll go with you. I'll go with you. Yeah. If there comes a day, people posted up at the end of your driveway, they're calling for your head and they're calling for your name. I'll bomb down on them, I'm coming through. Do they know I was born with you? If they hate a smoke, no, I'll go with you. Just keep it outside, yeah. If you find yourself in a lion's den, I'll jump right in and pull my pin and go with you. I'll 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 go with you. My God, I'll go with you. Yeah. Stay with me. You don't need to run. Stay with me. My God, you don't need to run. Stay with me. You don't need to run. Stay with me. My God, you don't need to run.
It's the Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O on Star 88.
Good afternoon, Starlings. How can I help?
Are you open today?
Yes, we are.
Because I'm looking for some toys.
What toys are you looking for?
Can't remember. Do you have any blocks that snap together? Easily the biggest child's toy of the last 50 years.
I'm sorry, I can't help you. I can put you on to my manager.
First, let me ask you this. Go get your manager, that'd be fine. Although, hold on.
Right, yes.
Is there a way... Just a second.
Mm-hmm.
Kryptonite. No, that's the other guy. Lego.
Lego? Yeah, we do Lego, yes.
My son loves Lego. His name is Dick.
Mm-hmm.
He's my adopted son. Originally, he wanted Playmobil, and then I talked him into Lego.
Yes.
People love Lego.
Yeah.
Quality stuff.
Yeah, we've got lots of Lego, yes.
Regular Lego or Batman?
We have normal Lego, we have Lego City, Batman.
So if I wanted Lego Batman movie Lego, you have some of the sets there?
Yes, we do, yes.
Totally new?
Yes, it's just come in, yeah.
Uranium. Victory is mine. Because I just remembered uranium and I was telling my son. Sorry. Anyway, would you be able to tell me your closing time tonight?
Yeah, we close at 5:30.
Xylophones. Do you guys carry xylophones too? Sorry, that's just my other son. He's really into music.
Xylophones, no, we haven't got any of those in, I'm afraid.
You've been very, very helpful. I'm sure it's busy. Zoo-like, I bet, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Will Arnett, who of course plays Batman in the Lego Batman, prank calling a Lego store. We're gonna do pranks all morning long, Sam. Who do you want to prank? Who do you want to prank? You want to prank your wife?
No.
You want to prank Brenda? Come on,
Well,
let's do it.
let me rephrase that.
Yeah.
Yes, I would love to, but I wouldn't survive it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
I mean, after it was over, I would be a dead man.
How about we prank one of your kids?
I don't know about
No?
that.
Okay.
I don't know. Pranks are fun till somebody gets hurt.
You know what? You're right. Until somebody gets
I
hurt.
sound like such a grown-up.
You are. You're
so
such a grown-up.
depressing. I guess I am.
Sam Swann, everybody. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
It is Friday. Live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. How was your week, man? Was it good?
Yeah, it was good. I went to Clovis and spoke at Central Baptist. I've been doing that on a weekly basis, driving back and forth to Clovis. And I got rained on in Fort Sumner, man. There's more rain in Fort Sumner on Wednesday night than I have ever seen in my life. Yeah.
Man, there's been so much rain.
It was. I was a little worried about flash flooding. In fact, there's a bridge. There's like an old school train bridge, concrete. I mean, it's really classy looking.
Right.
And it dips down low, and that was full of water, like probably up to, I don't know, halfway up my wheels. I don't want to overstate it, but I was a little nervous going through there. But then I thought, it's a bridge on either side. It's like solid concrete walls. It could just wash me into the wall, not wash me away.
Right.
So
yeah.
I just went through.
Yeah. The monsoons here have been crazy.
Been crazy.
Yeah. Yesterday, man, it was coming
down. Yeah.
That thick rain, heavy rain.
We need it.
Yeah, we do.
We don't need the flooding, but we could sure use the rain.
That's right. All right, well, let's jump into, we got a letter that we want to tackle with you, Sam.
I heard you tease that.
Yeah. It's funny because we kind of talked a little bit about this situation. It's a little different, but we talked about it in the 6 o'clock hour with Nate and Steven on, what's the appropriate age for your kids to go and travel alone?
To take a flight alone.
Take a flight alone.
In the 6 o'clock hour, we talked about taking a flight alone because at the age of 5, you can actually travel alone. This is a little different. I mean, you've got kiddos.
Yeah.
He's got 10 kids, guys.
Okay.
5.
Hello. I just have to say I love your guys' show so much.
Thank you so much.
I listen every morning and have been listening to Dex for about 8 years now.
Oh, that's nice.
That's the first time we've gotten one where it's like I've been listening to Dex for all this time. Usually it's like, I'll listen to Steve-O and then and then you came along.
And then this new guy, Dex, who sounds like he's new to radio.
Anyway,
yeah.
I need some advice. I have an 8th grader who is 13 years old. She's a good kid, good grades, pretty mature for her age, and her school is offering a middle school trip to London in 2019.
Ooh, London.
I was set on going with her, but I just can't afford to pay for both of us. So now I have to decide to let her go with chaperones, school teachers, or not allow her to go at all. She has never gone on a trip without me, let alone out of country. The trip is with EF Educational Tours, and from what I've heard are really big with safety. However, letting her go without me is so scary. This would be such a good opportunity for her. I obviously will pray about it, but would like to hear your personal thoughts and the Starmy thoughts. I have to enroll her by next week, so any advice or similar stories would definitely help. Thanks, guys.
Sam, have you ever heard of a lawnmower parent?
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
Talked about that
Actually,
this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, lawnmower parent.
That's a little bit more aggressive than a helicoptering parent.
Yeah, that's a parent that doesn't allow their kids to do anything on their own. Usually
they mow down the problems ahead of them so that they don't ever have to face any kind of adversity or struggle.
Yeah.
And sadly, they turn into 30-year-olds who don't know how to function.
Now, I'm not pointing out that the fact that this, I mean, maybe this parent who wrote in, maybe they are a lawnmower parent. We don't know.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say they're not.
The tone of the letter does not sound lawnmowing.
I'm gonna say
to
they're
me.
not. But
Because if she was a lawnmowing parent, she wouldn't have written in. She would have already made the decision.
You know what? You're right. Yeah, good call. So yeah, this is so 13 years old, and there's a trip to London
overseas with chaperones,
with teachers. Okay. When you said chaperones, I immediately thought, all right, if they're
Like
just other
older-
parents, because I'm sure there's other parents going to be there. 'Cause
Yeah,
she has the
absolutely.
opportunity to go. So,
Yeah.
but there's definitely going to be some teachers there. Man, it's tough. I would let my kid go.
You would or wouldn't?
I would.
You would.
I would.
8th grader?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. I would make sure that my kid
To
raised
London.
the money.
Not like a California trip. We're talking overseas.
Yeah, I would do it.
Okay.
Yeah. What about you guys?
London is like the European L.A.,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
it's not. It's a happening place.
I mean,
Right? Here's what I think. As long as I would do some homework and make sure that how many other parents are going, how many
Mhm.
teachers are going, how many other adults are going to be accompanying the kids. If it's like a teacher and another parent and 37 kids,
Yeah.
that would make me a little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Now, let me restate that. That would make me extremely uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But if there's a good number of chaperones, like a student to chaperone and teacher ratio,
Yeah.
where they have a full printed itinerary that says this is exactly where we're going to be during. Well, yeah, obviously, things happen, traffic happens, whatever. So, but with some built-in leeway. But we know that on Monday at 2:00 they're going to be touring the Tower of London, and then at 4:00 they're going to go to
The Globe.
Buckingham Palace.
I want to go to the Globe.
Or that giant
Take
Ferris
me.
wheel.
We just solved it all.
I know.
I'll chaperone.
I'll tell you what. How much
I'll
is
watch
it?
your
I'll
kid.
go.
I've
I'll watch your
always
kid.
wanted to go to London.
Yeah, me too. I was born in England. I'd like to go over there and check it out.
See, there you go.
Yeah,
we
see.
just solved a problem.
So
Well,
I
go.
think as long as it's a credible organization and you do some homework and double check on it and get the itinerary, then anytime we even if we sent our kids on a band trip, because I'm likening this to like a band trip.
Yeah.
This is a great opportunity for this 8th grade girl to go to Europe.
Yeah.
To go to London. If I would have had an opportunity like that, I would have been so excited as a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if my kids would have had a chance to do that, I definitely would have done that.
Well, I mean, I was 18 when I went to Europe for the first time, so it's a difference between 13 and 18. But
with chaperones and stuff, totally.
Yeah,
Right.
And we're getting both sides. So for the mom, listen, Sarah chimed in on YouTube and said, I did the exact same thing when I was 13. There were 25 kids to 5 adults. It was a great experience. I was mature at the time, and so were the other kids. On the flip side, somebody said, I went to Austria and Italy with 50 other high school students when I was 16. We had 25 chaperones, so one for every other kid. It still did not stop all the shenanigans.
Well,
And that's,
but 16-year-olds are a little bit more creative in their shenanigans.
Yeah, I was I think 15 or 16, summer after sophomore year. I went to Germany, Austria, Italy, and Switzerland with friends from NIMI. I believe there were
That's the New Mexico Military Institute.
Yes, there were 2 chaperones. 2.
Oh, my gosh.
wow.
Yeah.
Steve-O, you need 2 chaperones just by yourself.
Yeah.
I mean, all dedicated to you.
Look, I had great grades, and like this mom was like, he's great. She's great. She's just so great and mature. I was mature enough to know how to order a beer underage.
Yeah.
And I wish I were joking, but like that was the truth back then. I was an idiot.
Yeah.
So your daughter, obviously better than we do, and she started the email with like all of the praises for her daughter.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like she's swaying that way.
Yeah.
But I understand like the.
I see the hesitancy.
Also, this was the 90s when I went, so
Yeah.
it was like a $7 collect call per minute if I wanted to even contact someone.
Right.
So it's a little easier to make connections and
Right.
like you said, Ned Flanders, the itinerary. I love that.
Ned
Immediately. Oh, if there was an itinerary,
As long as
lay
we
it
know
out.
exactly where they're going to
at
be.
every given moment.
And according to Find My Friends, you are not where you're supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm texting you.
Call
Right
every
away.
hour on the hour.
Somebody says, heck no, never let your children go to another country without you. I guarantee you there will be a senior trip to Europe or something. That's when you spend that money. 13 years old, way too early.
You can't guarantee that because when I
Yeah.
was a senior, nobody offered to take me to
That's
Europe.
very,
That's
very
not a
true.
guarantee.
Well, is it because it's such a long ways away? If something happens, then
It'd be tough, yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
And somebody said we went on a European trip with my school. I had chaperones, but they seem more interested in going on a trip to Europe than watching the kids. we ended up all getting tattoos.
Wow.
Yeah. So
how old?
Doesn't say. Doesn't say how
Yeah,
old they were.
I don't know. 13 though. I don't think any 13-year-old is going to be going out and getting a tattoo.
I had my first tattoo in high school underage.
Oh wow.
But that's not 13.
Yeah, this kid's in 8th grade.
Somebody says, no, don't let them go. But man, what an opportunity. But London is very far away. But they aren't with you. But London is so awesome.
Oh,
but they're not with you. I'm out. I can't help you at all. It's a tough decision. Pray like you said. Research like Sam is saying. Let them go with loads of prayer. I do not envy your position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys can chime in 505-338-3700. Good morning.
Hi, good morning.
Hi.
So, I let my son did a similar thing last year for 8th grade. They didn't go overseas, but they did the same company, EF Education, or whatever, and they went to Boston and New York. A little nervous, too, with the whole New York thing, because there's so many people and so many things could happen. And my son was only 13. But not only are there chaperones with the school, but the organization has people that goes with the group as well. They also have security personnel who go to the hotels and stay overnight, make sure kids don't get out of the hotel rooms and stuff. So it's actually a really good organization. And before I signed my kid up, which, and that should happen with this lady, they have a parent meeting that lays all that out.
Oh. Yeah.
What you can expect, how many people will go over there, what's the security, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So it was a really good opportunity for my son. I'm glad I let him go. I was still a nervous wreck thinking, what if someone takes my kid?
Yeah, well, that's just that course as
and
a parent.
That's a normal, of course, that's a normal worry that we have.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
For sure.
Good stuff. Thank you.
This is a very popular organization. They've got, so many, recommendations from other parents and people who've done it. They've been doing it for so many years. I don't think this woman has really anything to worry about. I know the anxiety, but she should just let her daughter have the experience. She'll never forget it.
Good stuff.
That's good. Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, Mom.
Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm. I'm checking their Yelp reviews, see how many kids have been taken.
Yeah, get back
how
to
many
us on
have they
that.
lost?
Yeah.
What's the ratio?
You know how many, if it's 5, are you going to be okay with that?
Are you okay with 5? Out of the
what's
hundreds
li-
of thousands?
Right.
Or what if it's like 8%?
Yeah, right? Yeah, I don't know.
5% is not bad.
5%.
I can't believe I just said that.
I don't remember the rating, but Taken would definitely influence my decision. What's the rating on Taken?
I think that's one that 13-year-olds can't see.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that
I
it
see
would
what you're
influence the decision.
I
I'm already
thought
worried
you were
about my
saying,
youngest
what
daughter.
if the in-flight movie is Taken? Should I allow her to watch
yes,
that?
I
didn't know where. I didn't know where you were
there's
going with that.
Whole other. That's not me. It's a member of the Star.
That's a whole other Bible study right there.
They said I'm already worried about my youngest daughter walking to work in an unfamiliar neighborhood. What if somebody takes my kid? Nope.
Yeah.
When I was a sophomore in high school, my mariachi group got to go on a trip to Spain. I think I was probably the only one that didn't get to go, mostly because we were poor. Now that was lame.
Oh, that's sad.
That's a sad story.
Yeah. Heck yeah, a couple days without the kids. Spread those wings, kick them out of the nest, bro. Somebody else said.
Yeah. It's, you know what? This is a good experience for your 13-year-old.
I think it's a great idea.
It's a really good. And you know what? Especially have him raise the money. When I turned 18, I had to go out and raise the money, you know? And my parents said, you know what? If you raise this much, then we'll match it. And I was able to go when I turned 18. It was kind of like a graduation.
Yeah, and it gives some great incentive and teaches them a little bit of responsibility and help them decide if you want to do this. You got, like when I was a kid, this is sort of related, just in the fact of giving incentive. A lot of course, when I was a kid, I said, all my friends have cars. But the truth is, some of my friends had cars, and I wanted a car. And my dad said, you want a car? You get a job. And I decided, you know what? I don't want a car so bad.
Yeah.
So I didn't get a job.
I mean, that was your choice.
That was my choice,
Exactly.
and that's what it was. My dad said, I'll help you get one if you get a job. And I was like, my friends can drive.
There you go.
Just bum rides off of them all the time.
Somebody says, cut the apron strings and let your child go. Your job is to train them to leave you and be great adults. If you don't allow them when they are young, they won't be able to when they're older. I did the same thing with my 14-year-old last year, and going to do it with my 13-year-old this year. They're going to Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
That's cool.
When I was in 8th grade, we took an 8th grade in Virginia. All the 8th grade schools take trips to Washington, D.C. because it's close.
Yeah, we did that when we were
I
juniors.
went. It was so cool.
That's
Dude,
what
it was
everyone
really cool.
says.
I remember
the
that.
historical aspect of it. Like, man,
We drove on like a Greyhound bus all the way up.
Someday.
Yeah, it was fun.
We got this letter from a mom in the Starmy. Their 13-year-old son, daughter, has the opportunity to go to London with a ton of other kids at school, and there's going to be chaperones and teachers there, and it looks like it's a safe organization that they're the daughter would be going through, and she's wondering, I don't know, do you guys think this is a good idea? And of course, as moms, even as parents, I know moms can kind of struggle with that sometimes a little more than dads. They have a hard time just allowing their kids to do things, and we can be overprotective at times, but sounds like everybody's saying, you know what, if it checks out the organization, it's a good organization, why not?
I mean, it would be completely different if the 13-year-old daughter was like, hey, Mom, me and my boyfriend and some other friends, we have a chance to go to London.
Backpacking?
Yeah, we're going to go backpacking through Europe.
Yeah.
Don't even finish the question.
Right.
You haven't even got to the question.
You
the
already
answer
know
is
the answer.
no, and in fact, what's his name? What's his address? I'm sending the cops right now.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there you go.
Yeah.
I think it's a great idea. It's a great opportunity.
Hey, go ahead. Ooh, we're losing you. You there?
Can you hear me?
There you are.
Now we can.
Is it better?
There you are.
Okay. I was going to say I have a 13-year-old daughter in the 8th grade as well. Her school class, and I think this is a fabulous opportunity. I've been to London. It is an amazing city, and I'm familiar with the organization they have.
Oh, we're losing. Call us
Sounds like
back.
she's
We're
in
losing
London.
you.
You're still
Calling
kind of
from
Call
London.
us back.
Thank
Call
you.
us back. We're losing you. But
Yeah.
so it
That sounded
sounds like a good
So that's
idea.
another. That sounds like
opportunity.
another. Yeah. That's two positives for the organization.
I mean, Luke's only 12, and last year there was a baseball tournament that we couldn't get out to because of the costs. Because, man, travel baseball is expensive.
Yeah, it is.
And we let him go with the teammate. Teammate's mom drove him. He was in, I can't remember if it was Vegas or Phoenix or one of the places.
Yeah.
And Luke went by himself as an 11-year-old-ish. He was watched the entire time by his best friend's mom.
When you say by yourself, you really mean without you and Chrissy.
Without us, yes. Because that's what's happening here, essentially.
They're not going by themselves.
No, they're going with adult supervision. They have chaperones. And then as people have chimed in saying, the organization also has their own chaperones.
Yeah.
And so we trusted, that our friends were going to just watch them, and they had a blast. And, of course, he loved it because it was like, with us, it's normally bedtime, 9 o'clock or something, and he's up till 1 o'clock playing Fortnite or whatever, having a good time. So,
I had
course
a
he loved
Snickers
it.
at 12:15.
Right, exactly.
It was awesome.
So, of course, he loved the trip. So, but we still let him go because it's like, he's responsible.
Especially
We
if you
trust
know the
him.
family, absolutely.
So I say go for it.
A little bit of freedom.
It's a little different because it's across the pond, but
Yes.
I don't know.
All right. Well, you know what, Mom? Hey, let the kid go.
Yeah.
Let your daughter go, I think. But you know what? If something happens, we're not responsible.
We're not responsible.
Okay?
The opinions expressed here are not the opinions of
Yeah.
Always have to have the disclaimer.
Yeah, and I love what she said too. She's been praying about it, and that's the best thing you can do.
Absolutely.
Somebody said, but if she goes to London, won't she come back with bad teeth and universal health care? That's what Fox News told me.
Yes.
So
Yes, that's probably true.
say, that's a bit harsh.
Man, you were born in England, weren't you?
Pip pip cheerio and all that. Let's have tea.
All right. If you guys ever need our help, we're here. Studio at star88.fm. You can email us. You can text in. You can message us on Facebook or YouTube at star88fm. All right, we got to take a quick break. Live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. Hang out.
A Star 88 Supernova. Here's Rick Warren.
God says, I want you to live a life of significance, a purpose-driven life, a life of meaning. And how do you do that? By applying yourself to do good deeds and helping others who have urgent needs. He takes small steps. Isaiah 1, learn to do good, work for justice, help the down and out, stand up for the homeless, go to bat for the defenseless, Now, every one of those things you can do right here. You see, God's vision for your life is both global and local. You need bifocal vision. And when we talk about God's vision for your life in the peace plan, it's not just something way over there in another country. It's something right here. It's not about location. It's about dedication.
Catch Rick Warren's Daily Hope on KNKT 107.1 weekdays at 7:30 a.m. Dr. Francis Collins, head of the Human Genome Project, says this: I am privileged to be somebody who tries to understand nature using the tools of science. But it is also clear that there are some really important questions that science cannot really answer, such as, why is there something instead of nothing? Why are we here? In those domains, I have found that faith provides a better path to answers. I find it oddly anachronistic that in today's culture there seems to be a widespread presumption that scientific and spiritual views are incompatible. Star 88 with a solar flare. On Star 88, Robert Morris brings us this PowerPoint.
Jesus is not in his incarnate form, which incarnate means in the flesh. He's not in the flesh anymore as one person, but he's still in the flesh. He's in us. As a matter of fact, it's so clear in Scripture, just to remind you, we are called the what of Christ? The body. We are the body of Christ on the earth right now. Jesus is not, the light is in us. So that's how he said, you're the light of the world. As long as I'm in the world, I'm the light of the world. But when I leave, you're going to be the light of the world. The only light this world will have will be you. And if you don't shine, if you put your light under a basket, then we're going to be in trouble.
A PowerPoint with Robert Morris. This is Star 88.
What am I doing with my life? I need some motivation. I'm somewhere in between insanity and desperation. Why doesn't anything go right? I need an explanation. I'm somewhere in between the tragedy and devastation. But I'm not worried about it. At least that's what you want me to say. But there ain't no way around it. I wanna run away.
The Morning Invasion.
Hollywood icon Burt Reynolds has died. The Senate confirmation hearing for a Supreme Court nominee, Brett Kavanaugh, continues.
Twitter just announcing what amounts to a ban of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones.
The Trump administration says it's abandoning a court settlement limiting how long immigrant children can be kept locked up. Instead, officials proposing new regulations that would let the government detain families until their immigration cases can be decided.
Canada has announced a recall of more than 300,000 F-150 pickup trucks.
Charges against a number of North Korean cyber operatives in connection with the 2014 hack of Sony.
The UN Security Council addressed the poisoning of former Russian spy Sergei Skripal and his daughter.
Baseball coach at Oregon State just announcing retirement after 24 seasons.
The Oscars Academy has dropped widely publicized plans to create a new category for next year's ceremony honoring the best popular film.
Wildfire in Northern California, there's another growing fast in the same region.
The Delta fire got terrifyingly close to Interstate 5 while people were on it.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Live from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 Studios. Welcome to the show. Thanks for joining us. We're on demand. You can download the app, Star 88. You can stream us. You can get the podcast. So shout out to all you YouTubers, Facebookers, hanging out with us every morning. Love you guys. 505-338-3700 is the number to call in. Yeah, Burt Reynolds passed away yesterday. I know, Sam, you probably can relate a little more to Burt Reynolds than Steve and I, because that was like your time.
I remember Burt Reynolds greatly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, Cannonball Run.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Smokey and the Bandit. Man,
that was probably one of my favorite movies that he ever did.
Right?
Smokey and the Bandit.
Oh, that's Sally Field's best movie still, bro. Name a better movie. Forrest Gump.
And I have to admit, I had a little bit of a crush on Sally Field.
Everybody did, man. I didn't because she looks just like my mom.
She was
so it's kind of weird. I'm not being funny. She got that all the time growing up.
Sally Field's so hot, but that's so repulsive to me because she looks like my mom. I could see that. No, I hear you.
Like growing up, people would approach her and ask her if she was Sally Field. And I'm
she was America's sweetheart, dude, back in those days. She was. She started out
you know what?
as a child.
Dude.
She was a child actress on a sitcom called The Flying Nun.
Yeah.
And she was I mean she's been in the business forever.
Yeah, she has.
And when she in the 70s when she was younger and you know, I'm a teenage boy, I'm like, she's very attractive.
Well, yeah.
She's extremely attractive.
Girl.
I've never heard you have to talk about like a crush like this.
I think
really
she was
it's endearing, bro.
She was one of my celebrity crushes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And everybody, and while we're on celebrity crushes, I'll just throw this out there. Everybody liked Marcia, but I thought Jen was kind of cute myself from the Brady Bunch.
That's okay because I'll tell you right now, there's like one person to this day. I'm a grown up, but like I had this crush back in the day that I follow her on Instagram, and every time she posts something, I go, "You're so great."
Who is it?
I don't want to say.
I want to
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Yeah. He loves Jennifer
Love Hewitt.
And she's the most annoying Instagrammer
You
ever.
know what, bro? You take that back.
I had to unfollow her.
She's engaging and endearing to her fans.
I'm going to go
unfollowed
start
her.
following her.
No, don't do it. She like posts like 100 stories
like
a day.
100 Insta stories a day,
Oh.
and they're all about being a mom and like they're really sweet.
You know,
and
this
her
you guys are going to really
husband,
laugh at me.
and-
This conversation has really taken an ugly turn, but the you know, Hallmark Channel every year around Christmas time shows all these sappy Christmas, you know, Hallmark Christmas Channel stuff.
Yeah.
And I get, when I take some time off, Brenda just laughs at me and makes fun of me for doing that. So anyway, Jennifer Love Hewitt is on a bunch of those, and those are pretty good movies. I mean, they're predictable, but they're, you know, when you're sitting at home eating bonbons all day long because everybody's out, you just watch I don't even know what a bonbon is. I just heard that years ago. I guess it's a candy. I don't know.
That's awesome.
There's somebody who knows what bonbons is, text into the live line and tell me what.
That was awesome.
Or a truffle, maybe.
Ooh,
Nobody knows the
truffle,
truffles
yes.
I've seen.
Truffles,
Oh
yes.
my gosh. That was so
I
bad.
was just trying to sweeten up the conversation.
Oh, no.
Gosh. Yep, he's on a roll.
It's just the icing on the cake, as
Yep.
far as I'm concerned.
Yep.
Well,
my
we do get
gosh.
our just desserts sometimes.
Is this still happening?
Yeah,
Is he
just let
still
it go,
going?
man.
All right.
So anyway, Sally Field, I thought she was the cutest thing ever, but Cannonball Run, I'm sorry, Smokey and the Bandit was I thought it was a funny movie, and
PG, man.
yeah, and the guy who was the truck driver, Jerry Reed, I think is his name. I can't remember. I think it is. He's a country artist from those days, and he sang the theme song, the Eastbound and Down, Loaded Up and Trucking. We're going to do what they say can't be done. We got a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Look at this guy.
Yeah.
I'm eastbound, watch old bandit run.
Look at you.
Dude,
Gosh, man.
I'm going to have to go and find that movie and watch it today in honor of Burt Reynolds.
See?
So, for those that don't know, because people were
And that
chiming in
Trans Am
going,
was hot.
who's Burt Reynolds?
Oh, wow.
Like, my dad, he's one of the few people I remember back then, like, that my dad just loved.
Yeah.
I always remember Burt Reynolds on the television.
Yeah.
Movies, and I remember for some reason, like, check to this day, parents, I remember this. I remember walking in, and my mom and dad were watching a movie, and they're like, you got to go.
Right.
And I looked it up today because I never knew, and he was a NASCAR driver, and I always remembered that in my brain, but I just never looked it up. It's a rated R film. I'm not recommending it in any way, shape, or form because I'm sure it's horrible. It was called Stroke Race.
Yeah.
And I remember remember being a kid walking in and my parents going, "Nope, this one's not for you. Go play with Star Wars toys."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But Burt Reynolds was always on television.
He was one of those guys he was a stunt man, and then or had done some stunts kind of as he was trying to break into Hollywood, and then he became this because he was a handsome, back for the 70s,
so
a handsome
looking.
fella, yeah. And think of the biggest actors now that are super popular.
Yeah.
Like name a couple.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
I'm talking about
he's talking
some
about
of the younger
Brad
guys.
Pitt,
Brad
Tom
Pitt.
Cruise.
Anybody all those guys. Burt Reynolds was those guys
was
in the
that
70s.
heartthrob.
Yeah, he was the heartthrob. He was on every teen magazine. He
And
was
all the
cover.
dudes loved him because he had the cool stash.
And he had that
was
cool
like,
thick
really,
mustache, and he was funny, and he
Yeah,
so,
it's a good call.
Who is that today?
Chris Pratt. I mean,
Okay.
it was not
Maybe.
Chris Pratt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
You
he
know
would
what?
be because he was funny.
Hilarious.
Yeah, he was funny, but he could also he was a good actor.
Robert Downey Jr.?
I don't think he got I don't think he got a lot of credit for his acting chops because he was in silly movies. When he would try to
Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
Come on, bro. He was hilarious.
Jim Carrey is hilarious.
And the Truman Show, really.
And
good
actually,
actor.
he showed some chops in the Truman Show.
A few movies he showed chops.
That's
but
true.
He's a
No,
little
that's
crazy.
true. I'll take it back.
Crazy.
Yeah,
You're talking comedian who could act. I'm just saying.
Well, that's
Ben Affleck,
Robin Williams.
Yeah.
But he wasn't.
But that's a different category.
Yeah, different category.
And Robin Williams was big back in those days too. He was just a lot younger. Burt Reynolds was a little older than him, but they're kind of in the same generation as far as fame and stuff that they did, and they did totally different things. Robin Williams did the way out there crazy stuff, and Burt Reynolds just did the kind of funny movies and would do some dramatic roles. Like he was everybody talks about the Adam Sandler version of The Longest Yard, but Burt Reynolds was in the original Longest Yard.
Yeah,
and
as
I think that's rated R, but. So I'm not recommending it, but
I love that.
As a Baptist, I can't.
You can't recommend that.
I don't even know.
all do that
I
now?
don't even know what the rating is.
Yeah.
So before you watch that movie in honor of Burt Reynolds, check it out and make sure that it's something that you should be watching.
Somebody said because people are chiming in immediately with who they believe is like the Burt Reynolds of our generation. The first person that chimed in really did say Chris Pratt. We also got Benedict Cumberbatch, which is interesting.
Yeah.
Because I think he's witty. He is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but is he? I don't know if he's as handsome as.
But he's not American.
You're a dude, and you need to talk to the ladies.
No, you're right.
I don't know any female that's
Think
not
about
like
it, though,
enamored
like,
with Benedict Cumberbatch.
But he's so smart and witty, and but if he, if he was a jerk, and I don't know if he would.
He's more like the Alec Guinness of this time.
Ooh, wow.
Alec Guinness had.
He played he played Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars: A New Hope. Sorry, Sir Alec Guinness.
Sir Alec Guinness.
Somebody said Chris Hemsworth. Nailed it.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Hilarious and smoking hot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Smoking.
Good call.
Smoking.
I will say,
smoking's bad for your health.
last year I went to Thor Ragnarok, the movie premiere in Manhattan. I will tell you now, as a grown man who has been married for almost 16 years, I've never seen a more beautiful human being in all of my life.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I'm not joking.
No, I believe you.
I said human being because I'm talking ladies or males. Like, he walked into the room and I was like, oh, wow.
Maybe
no, he's chiseled perfection. And then he started talking and interacting with us like in the movie theater, and I'm going, dang it, dude, he's the funniest guy I've ever seen. And he's charming, and he's just great.
Yeah.
Dang it! He's the best!
Thanks, Lord.
Yeah, so Chris Hemsworth, that's a good one. Somebody else said The Rock, and I'm like, man.
Yeah,
I love
The Rock. Heck yeah, man.
My kids love The Rock.
He's a beautiful man.
Because I remember being a kid loving, I wanted to Trans Am when I grew up. I couldn't wait till I was old enough to grow a mustache. Like, I thought Burt Reynolds was the coolest.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
Anyway. All right.
Oh, man. It's sad.
All that to
it's
say.
sad, and to see, that the way he died is kind of sad, because he had a heart attack.
Heart attack.
And it sounded like it wasn't, he was having chest pains because the 911 call was a guy, and he was, Burt couldn't talk, but he was,
Someone else
Sad.
said Ryan Reynolds, speaking of.
Ryan Reynolds.
Ryan
Good
Reynolds
call.
is the Burt Reynolds.
Yes. They should remake
played.
Cannonball Run with Ryan Reynolds.
Dude, you know what?
Seriously.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
With all of them, though, because Cannonball Run had so many famous actors.
did, right?
In different cars. So you basically get the Marvel Universe together. Because you want Chris Pratt, you want Robert Downey Jr. in one of those cars, you want Benedict Cumberbatch as the smart, witty British dude.
And
We're going to make this happen.
Yeah, Spider-Man. What's the guy's? The actor?
Tom Holland.
Dude, he's hilarious.
Yeah, okay, so you had Roger Moore. This is the cast of Cannonball Run.
Yeah, see,
Dean
Benedict Cumberbatch
Martin,
will be-
Sammy Davis Jr.,
See, so Justin Timberlake will
Jackie
be one of them.
Chan.
So who would be the Jackie Chan of this generation right now? Who's going to do it? Man, martial arts just aren't as cool as they used to be.
You could probably get Jackie Chan again.
Yeah, Jackie Chan. He's still around.
Yeah, he probably looks exactly the same.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Man, the cast was just great.
Yeah, they did movies like that had like this all-star blockbuster cast.
Yep.
And the movie itself, the script and everything might not have been that strong, but
Right?
everybody wanted to see it because of who was in
Because
it.
of all the cameos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
It's
the
like
cameos,
it's like the Muppet TV show.
That's exactly
Yeah.
right. The cameos were some of the
It's
funniest
the grown-up
things.
Muppet TV show.
Yeah, exactly.
Which was PG, by the way. Just want to make
Yeah,
sure everybody.
just- yeah.
At the time.
At the time.
So somebody else said Johnny Knoxville. Oh, they made a what? No.
No,
they made a Cannonball Run.
No,
they
you're thinking of Dukes of Hazzard. They remade Dukes of Hazzard.
Oh,
with
yeah.
Johnny
Okay.
Knoxville.
Yeah, which is not
the same.
not
at
quite
all.
classic like
Not-
Burt Reynolds.
No, not as.
That's
classic.
okay, but not as classic.
Yeah, it was still great. It was great.
Yeah.
Glad that we've solved this. It's good, man.
Didn't we? Hey, did the letter that we got? Because when you were scrolling through the tabs there, I saw the letter again. That she chimed in on the live line. Did you see that?
Oh, cool. No.
She said it was an orange one.
Oh.
Yeah, she said thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
She said I'm the one who wrote in.
Yeah, right there.
Hey, let us know. Let us know
you.
if you decide to send your daughter.
Yeah.
I'd like an update.
Somebody chimed in on the Burt Reynolds thing and said he inspired my love for Trans Ams. Currently have a 2000 Trans Am that's pretty rowdy. I had an 80 Trans Am but couldn't afford the restoration on it. Both of them are black. That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Rodney said, my dudes, Burt was 41 years old when he was smoky. We still got age on our side. We all look good in our 40. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. I'll take that.
Yeah.
All right.
I wish-
Are you looking to buy? Oh,
Wow,
my
not bad.
gosh.
Listen, dude.
Not bad.
The black Trans Am Firebird.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were that valuable.
That they are.
Oh, my
Dude,
gosh.
if you can get one in good yeah.
That's $40,000.
It's a and that doesn't even that's
That
not
doesn't even have like the
that
little
doesn't have the
cool T-top,
Firebird.
like-
That doesn't
Ooh,
have
here
the
we
Firebird
go.
on the hood. That's
was-
the one right
it's
there.
got the T-tops.
$90,000.
It's got the
T-top
T-tops.
with the yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah.
I clearly am not a car guy. 90.
Okay, we're at 119,000
That was
now.
a running machine.
Gosh. I'm going to throw up everywhere.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. We're gonna do what they say can't be done.
Man.
Oh, man. Yep.
We've
You'd
got
look good,
a
Sam.
long
You'd look
way
good in
to
that
go.
car. You should
Right.
buy that car.
Dude. I haven't made that much money in a lifetime.
Me neither.
I've been in youth ministry my whole life.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's a running machine. A friend of mine in high school, he was younger than me by a couple, maybe 3 years, had one of those.
Really?
His dad bought him one, brand spanking new, and it was I rode in it. It was a running machine, bro. I'm telling you.
Oh, I bet.
That's when they had muscle in the muscle car.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm saying.
Yep.
Yeah, that thing could run.
Just fully stocked.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. That classy. Yeah. Yeah.
You can just smell like gasoline
Oh,
every,
it was so
every
great.
trip, man. You just come back smelling like
There
gas.
was no smog control on that
no
motor.
way, man. No way. Yeah, gosh, man, the 80s.
Dude, well, speaking of, since we're talking random 80s things and Burt Reynolds, and we mentioned Cannonball Run
I guess
a few
that
times.
was 70s, right? Was Smoking the Madness 70s?
It's 70s, yeah.
For those that didn't realize, Cannonball Run, it was a movie in 1981, written by writer Brock Yates, who based it on his own multiple runnings of the Cannonball Baker Sea to Shining Sea Memorial Trophy Dash, which happened every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they did this to protect national speed limit laws because they were saying, you know, hey, come on, guys, we can do this better. We can do this faster.
Yeah.
Back then, it was like 45 on the freeway. Gosh, man. Yeah. Back then, you could like guesstimate how long it would take because the miles away was also the same as the speed limit. It was like, okay, well, it's 60 miles.
Yeah, right.
You're driving 60 miles an hour.
It'll take you an hour.
Take me
It'll
1
take
hour.
me 1 hour to get. Yeah. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, cool. Can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do the math now because I'm doing 85.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
70.
People who tell me they drive
Yeah.
85, I'm trying to do the math to say you are going to get to Socorro in 12 minutes.
Yeah. Well, I grew up in the time when Montana got rid of the speed
Oh
limit.
yeah, where it was called safe and reasonable.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
What?
Yeah. They didn't have a speed limit for
a long time. Long
10
time.
years or so.
Yeah.
And it was so the rule was usually is that if you were driving like a newer car, you could get away with 80-ish, maybe 90. It just depends on the cop. And it depends on, the conditions of the road and everything. So
It's
it was
wide open highway.
It was basically up to the police officer. But usually we could get away with going in 80s, 90s, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
Which is crazy to think because in Montana, there's so much wildlife.
The reason I remember that is because down here in New Mexico, when we were just getting our licenses, that was going on. And all of us were like, dude, I wish we could drive in Montana. Because we were also talking about like the Autobahn in Germany. Yeah. Because technically that,
same thing.
or back in those days, I don't know.
I think it still is. I don't think there's a speed limit on
Not
it.
really a speed limit on the Autobahn. And they were like, Montana's like the Autobahn.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Dude, let's take our Chevy truck up there.
But the problem is, here's the problem with living in Montana is there's so much
All the wildlife, yeah.
So you deal with roadkill.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've hit a dead deer or
That's in the middle of the road. Yeah.
Yeah, and
And
you
you
hit
don't have
that
time to
going
get out of the way.
90 miles an hour. Oh my gosh.
That's-
Or just a deer walking out in front of you.
You could catch some serious air off a dead deer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real. I mean, a lot of times some of those the deer, they can go through the windshield.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Oh,
just-
yeah.
It
It's
depends on what
bad.
kind of car you
It's
have.
bad.
So what's interesting, Cannonball Run was specifically made because of star power to drive up ticket sales for movies.
Yeah.
So that's why they had that. The original Ocean's 11 with the Rat Pack because it was Frank Sinatra,
Yeah.
Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Joey Bishop, all these people in the same film. And they don't really make movies.
They don't do that anymore.
Like that anymore, minus maybe Avengers.
Right.
Right? Like the Marvel movies.
Right. But that's not done to generate star power. That's just
Right.
part of the story.
Right.
But those movies, like there was another one called "It's a Mad, Mad, Mad World."
Yeah.
and it
Yeah.
had a bunch of like James Cagney was in that, and that's from the '60s,
Right.
Of that whole star
Trying to get
Yes.
so many stars
just
together.
to get people in the movies,
Yeah, to
into
generate
the
ticket
theaters,
sales.
yeah.
Which is really interesting.
And
'cause,
Mad, Mad,
yeah,
Mad World is actually a funny movie.
I've never seen
You
it.
should see it.
See?
It's '60s humor, so
Okay.
you
See,
might.
and that's part of the problem. You go back and watch Cannonball Run now,
And you're
you're
like-
going to miss a lot of it if you didn't grow up with that because it kicks off with mocking Smoking the Bandit. Like it mocks his character from Smoking the
Yeah.
Bandit. You've got Captain Chaos. Roger Moore instantaneously is mocking his own character of James
Bond, yeah.
So if you didn't have
if you don't know that he's James Bond, right?
So
Yeah.
unfortunately, a lot of it's just dated
There's
now
some
at this point.
contextual
But- yeah.
understanding.
It's like scripture. You see, you have
Yes,
to put it
bring it back.
everything in context.
You can't just
To-
bring the old and
That's right. Cannonball Run and scripture.
Yeah.
Amen. You're welcome, America. I've done my job.
Thank you.
I'll
yeah.
see you later.
Yeah, okay, bye-bye.
You see, Paul said we run this race, and
Yes.
Cannonball Run begins in New York
Amen.
City and ends up on the West Coast.
And you
So-
don't want to speed through the scripture. You
That's
want to
right.
take your time.
Yes, that's right. It's like a marathon, if you will,
Aye.
like the Cannonball Run.
Yes.
You have your Captain Chaoses throughout your life because in this world we will have troubles like the ambulance crew who had car trouble throughout the race. Jackie Chan. Oh, that's all I got. I ran out of things.
That was quite impressive.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Great, man.
I have to
Really
say.
good.
And it's been a long
Thank
time
you
since
so
I've seen
much.
Cannonball Run.
Woo! I know, same here. I'm like, I was a kid.
Yeah,
I do
know.
not remember
I
that
don't remember
movie.
it either.
Yeah.
I remember Captain Chaos because when I was a little kid, Captain Chaos was the coolest.
Yeah.
So, R.I.P. Dom DeLuise.
Yeah, it's crazy how evolved movies have gotten, because you go back and you watch a movie from the 60s, 70s, even the 80s, they're kind of hard to watch sometimes
Yeah.
because of the flow and the way they edit. And
Yep.
it's there's a lot of
sound.
wasted time in
Yeah.
those old films.
Yeah,
you
but
know?
when we were watching them,
we didn't know the
they were
difference.
cutting edge.
Yeah, we didn't know the difference.
And is
Yeah.
it wasted or is it because we become so ADD? It's just like
Right.
next scene, next
Maybe-
scene, next
yeah,
scene,
that's
and
what it
we
is.
don't
Yeah.
give anything like room to breathe or time to develop.
Yeah.
You know, like a
We've
fine
lost-
wine, you uncork it and you've got to let it breathe for a minute, right, Sam?
If you
Lost
mean
him.
when
I
you
lost
say Excuse me, I passed out
you,
for
like,
a second
smell
there.
the cork or something?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never.
If when you say wine, you mean grape juice.
Yes.
Yes.
Or wine, because I whine a
Wine
lot.
all the time.
So, yes.
I don't wanna.
And sometimes I have to pause and allow myself to breathe. That's what I was talking about. Yes, yes.
Well, that I understand.
Yeah. I'm a fine whiner.
Yes, you are.
I am. Gonna take a break so we can give me room to breathe.
Yes.
Kevin wants to know, who's the female equivalent to Burt Reynolds?
What?
In the 70s?
Farrah
Farrah
Fawcett.
Fawcett, my gosh.
Or maybe, because we're talking about right now, like Chris Pratt would be considered like the Burt Reynolds.
Oh, I see.
You know,
Okay.
like what's who like female version right now?
Julia Roberts was about 5 years ago.
Right?
Who is now Sandra Bullock?
Yeah, but they're a little older, though.
Are we talking comedy?
Jennifer Garner.
Like right now, maybe Jennifer Garner. Scarlett Johansson.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Jennifer Love Hewitt.
Jennifer Love
I
Hewitt.
gotta go. I gotta sit down.
No, I wouldn't say
Steve
that.
needs room to breathe.
All right, we got to take a break. Thanks for chiming in, you guys. Live from the Dreamstar Remodeling Star 88 Studios. We'll be right back.
I'm Daniel, and it's time to get in the techno. I've talked about a lot of things on the techno, but there's a few recurring subjects that keep popping up. Again, you see, is T-Mobile falling victim to a data breach? So here's my question. After the third or fourth time, is it really fair to call them a victim, or do they just have poor security in place? On August 20th, T-Mobile reported that hackers had breached their systems and gained access to the personal data of 2 million customers. Compromised info includes names, zip codes, email addresses, phone numbers, and account information. T-Mobile did send a text message out to those who were affected, advising them to change their login info and any affiliated password combos. It's an era of internet-based threats, digital criminals hacking, phishing for, and ultimately stealing your info. Identity theft has become totally commonplace. In the same way that you try to protect your data by not using the same password for everything, or simple password like bananagrandma1! Wouldn't you think that if a company is repeatedly compromising your data, it might be irresponsible to stay with them? I'm Daniel, and now you're in the techno on Star 88.
A supernova on Star 88 with David Jeremiah.
They were assisting him in his ministry. They were following his word and helping him preach the gospel. And yet these men find themselves terrified in the midst of a storm, tossed to and fro, up and down, and in danger of drowning. And fear takes over their hearts. The disciples were not in the storm because they were disobedient. They were in the storm because they were obedient. They were not in the storm because they were doing something wrong. They were in the storm because they were doing something right. Don't let anyone ever tell you if you're going through a storm in your life, it's because you've done something wrong. It well may be, but it not necessarily is. Storms come to all of us, no matter who we are, and oftentimes it is nothing to do with what you've been doing, but everything to do with what God wants to accomplish in your life.
Turning Point with David Jeremiah. Don't miss it on our sister station, KNKT, weekdays at 11 a.m. on 107.1 FM. This is KLYT, Albuquerque, Santa Fe. Rebroadcast on KKCJ, Cannon Air Force Base, KPKJ, Mintmore, K201CC, Las Cruces, K203EZ, Alamogordo, K207CQ, Gallup, K211CW, Hobbs, K212EH, Silver City, K214DE, Antonito, K218AK, Artesia, K250AB, Roswell, K293AO, Alamosa, K228DQ, Portales, in the free app for iOS and Android, and online at star88.fm.
My feet are frozen on this middle ground. The water's warm here, but the fire's gone out. I played it safe for so long, the passion left. Turns out safe is just another word for regret. So I step to the edge and I take a deep breath. We're all down to live, but we're all scared to death. And this is the part where my head tells my heart it should turn back around, but there's no turning back now. I'm going all in.
Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O on Star 88.
Lately I've been reeling, watching the nightly news. Don't seem to find the rhythm, just wanna sing the blues. Feels like a song that never stops. Feels like it's never gonna.
Gotta get that fire back in my bones before my heart turns into stone. So when somebody please pass the megaphone, I'll shout it on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, hear my prayer tonight. I'm singing to the sky. Give me strength to raise my voice. Let me testify. Oh, hear my prayer tonight. 'Cause this is do or die. The time has come to make a choice. And I choose. Let it move. Let it move. Let it move. Yeah, I choose. Let it move you. Let it move. Let it move. Yeah, back when I was younger, my eyes were full of life. But now that I am older, I live at the speed of light. Feels like the cycle never stops. Feels like it's never gonna.
Gotta get that fire back in my bones before my heart turns into stone. So when somebody please pass the megaphone, I'll shout it on the count of 3.
Oh, hear my prayer tonight. I'm singing to the sky. Give me strength to raise my voice. Let me testify. Oh, hear my prayer tonight. 'Cause this is do or die. The time has come to make a choice. And I choose. Let it move. Let it move. Let it move. Yeah, I choose. Let it move you. Let it move. Let it move. Though I walk through the valley in the shadow of night, oh, with you by my side, I'm stepping into the light. I choose. Let it move you. Let it move. Let it move. I need that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I need that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. Joy, joy, joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay. I need that joy, 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 joy down in my heart. Down in my heart to stay.
The Morning Invasion with Dex and Steve-O.
Yeah, that's it. Swann is with us as well. Sam Swann.
Yep.
That's right, guys. A little less than an hour left of TMI. Beautiful Friday. Thanks for joining us. And yeah, I guess Facebook is down. Whatevs. Go to YouTube. Go to YouTube, guys.
Yeah, youtube.com/star88fm.
Go there. I dare you guys to go to YouTube and watch the show.
Yeah.
Dare you guys.
Wow.
Yeah.
Big dare.
505-338-3700 if you'd like to call into the show. We love hearing from you. You can text in as well. What is that number?
505-585-LIVE. That's 505-585-5483.
A minor league baseball team in Alabama just changed its name to this.
The name that we picked, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, was on 70% of the Rocket City part was on 70% of the ballots, and the Trash Pandas was more than 3-1 over the second place team. It was fascinating to watch. This community embraced that name, and they're going to embrace this team.
The Trash Pandas is so great. I love it.
Are they going to wear like raccoon outfits? Like, how does that work? Man. Because isn't that the term for raccoons, trash pandas?
Yeah.
Anyone?
Mm-hmm. No, it really
Anyone?
is. Yeah.
I was going to say, is a trash panda something? I don't.
No, it's a raccoon.
It's a raccoon,
They call
man.
them trash pandas.
Trash panda.
Where I come
I'm
from.
so mad. I want that name.
Right? The trash pandas are cool, man. They're scrappy.
USL New Mexico right now, they're trying to come up with a name for our soccer team here, and I'm like, the Trash Pandas is pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
Slang word for raccoon.
Okay.
It's Alabama's new baseball team.
Yeah, a raccoon is basically the
And
cousin
the
of
Rocket
the panda.
City must be because it's in somewhere where NASA is in Alabama, because
I
isn't there
guess
some
so.
NASA stuff there?
There
Like
were
a
a bunch of
training.
wacky ones, I guess. The Rocket City Trash Pandas won. The names that were on the list: the Thunder Sharks.
Ooh, the Thunder Sharks.
The Space Chimps.
Ooh, yeah.
The Moon Possums.
These are great.
Those
and
are.
the Rocket City Comet Jockeys. That is hilarious.
There must be an astronaut training center there in that city.
I guess.
in
Okay,
that
so
area.
here's the deal.
What's this town?
Rocket City, Alabama?
Yeah, Rocket City, Alabama.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the name. Is that the name of the town?
Yeah.
Look it up, bro.
Rocket
All right.
City. Let me see it.
The name that we picked, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, was on 70%.
I thought they said
I think Rocket City is like a nickname for the community where it is.
Or it's, yes, you're right.
Is it?
It's Huntsville.
Aha! There's isn't there an astronaut training center in
Beautiful there.
Huntsville? For those of us who
Rocket City.
follow NASA
Yeah.
stuff.
There you go.
Well, just Apollo stuff.
Rocket
but anyway,
City, yeah. It's there's a rocket park at the U.S. Space and Rocket Center in Huntsville, Alabama. So
There
the
you
city
go.
is nicknamed the Rocket City for its close association with U.S. space missions.
is that Rocket Town that Michael W. Smith sang about a long time ago?
Oh, yeah. I think you're right, Sam.
Going to Rocket Town.
Yeah. So I guess there's a lot more to the Trash Pandas than just the fact that it's a raccoon. The name comes from social media. According to Business Insider, early in 2014, a Redditor made a comment on a photo of a raccoon saying, "Raccoons equal trash pandas." And that description literally stuck. And the term started garnering like
Wow.
widespread
Notoriety.
notoriety. And combine that with, the fact that Trash Panda is hilarious to say.
Yeah. That is a cool name. Rocket
Yeah.
City Trash Pandas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, I love everything about this. So, yeah, the Trash Panda trend inspired other renamings as well. Llamas are now known as giraffe sheep.
Ooh, nice.
That's bad.
Snakes are known as danger noodles. And an otter is now known as the sea cat snake. So
Was that a grizzly bear? The danger floof?
danger floof. Skunks.
What's a skunk?
A fart squirrel.
Fart squirrel?
Oh,
That's
my.
it. That's a fart squirrel.
That's what the soccer team needs to be called.
Oh, man.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the field. The fart squirrels.
Yes. The duckbill platypus, of course, is known commonly as the duck puppy.
Love that.
These are great.
Yeah.
I can't even read some of these. The stingray is known as the majestic sea flap.
Yeah.
I think it'd be better to be the flip flap. The sea flip flap.
Gosh, these are hilarious.
Those are great.
God bless you, internet.
I love the
Yeah.
fart squirrel.
Yep.
Man,
Smell that
what
fart squirrel?
Yeah. So,
What did we do when people just sat around with nothing to do?
yeah.
And now they have stuff to do
Now
on
they
the
have something-
internet.
Now they can
to
create hilarious
yeah.
names for animals that already exist.
All this
like
inner
the boople
creativity.
snoot. That's the rabbit.
Yeah.
Or the spiky floof, which is the porcupine.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, ain't nothing better than the trash panda and the fart squirrel. Good job. There we go. We got our team name for
man.
our New Mexico Soccer League.
There you go.
Yeah, the USLNM Fart Squirrels.
What would you? Okay, you guys are pretty witty. What would you call the Roadrunner?
Oh, I don't know. I like the Roadrunner.
Yeah,
but it's
That's
got to come
already
up with
like
a
a
name,
weird
man.
name
Hey, don't
for
you be
it.
messing with our state
Yeah,
bird,
that's right,
man.
dog. Hey,
my
come
bad.
on.
My bad.
Yeah.
Roadrunner, the coyotes after you.
Yeah.
Okay, the coyote. What is another name for a coyote?
Oh, see, because those are basically trash pandas, but in dog form.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Coyotes are the oddest, weirdest.
Trash dog.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Serious. Garbage dog.
Garbage
Garbage
dog.
dog. Garbage dog.
Yeah.
Apologies to school mascots named Coyote.
Yes. Yes. So, actually, somebody said Roadrunners are the trash pandas of New Mexico since raccoons are so much less common here. Do Roadrunners get into our trash?
No,
Yeah,
they eat
I've
lizards.
never seen that.
Lizards and snakes. Yeah.
There's a lot of
Mhm.
raccoons in the mountains.
Yeah. Raccoons are those, because we grew up with raccoons, and they're so weird. Their hands are like human hands.
Yeah, it's
They're
a little
really
creepy.
weird.
Yeah, it is.
They're like with claws. They're super weird, and
Yeah.
they can grab things, and
Yeah.
it's weird to watch a raccoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
By the way, Star-Lord totally calls Rocket a trash panda in Guardians
Oh,
too.
he
Oh,
does.
I totally missed that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Forgot all about that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Rodney actually said he had covered this on YouTube. And you look back in the comments, coyotes, the Mexican shepherd.
Ooh, that's
Oh,
good. I
yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
The coyote.
The roadrunner, the desert duck.
Desert.
Yes,
Or the-
that's a good one.
The out of nowhere bird. I'm like, what?
Yeah, they just kind of spring out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I like Rocket Bird.
Yeah, the
'Cause
rocket
they're
bird.
fast.
They are
Yeah.
very fast.
If we're gonna give a nickname to the Roadrunner, let's make it classy.
Yeah.
Oh man, people are now sending in all of their favorites.
Oh my gosh.
The hawk is known as the heat-seeking devil chicken.
Yes.
Zebra is known as the prison pony.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, I can't even keep up with the memes that
That's
are pouring
so
in on the live
great.
line right now. So the puppy is known
Oh
as
my
the
gosh.
sad-eyes von Gimme Food.
Yes.
Dude, Rocket every day.
Yeah.
The forest corgi, also known as the fox. The wizard cow.
Yeah.
What is this goat
Looks just
thing?
like a wizard.
I think that's a mountain goat.
Yeah.
That is
I don't.
So
Oh my gosh. Yes.
the ostrich, the pantless thunder goose.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
And
hilarious.
sloth, of course, the slow motion gorilla.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Slow
Yeah.
motion. gorilla.
Somebody says raccoons are actually super common here. Whoever says that doesn't know. I saw my
That's what I'm
first
saying.
one on Paseo.
I'm saying raccoons are a lot more prominent in New
Yeah.
Mexico. They are indigenous
Than
to New
we
Mexico
realize.
than people would recognize.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They really are.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know if I've seen one here in Albuquerque.
Yeah. Coyotes are baby trash wolves. That's why.
Yeah. Okay. Trash wolf.
Trash wolves. Baby trash wolves.
A wolf wannabe.
All right.
Name.
Thank you, Starmy, for all of your
Yeah.
names.
Oh man.
And thanks to the baseball team for having a sense of humor.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Sometimes I wonder if things are chosen on the internet wisely because there's so many trolls out there
Yeah.
that I would be curious how many people chose that because they actually liked it versus
Or
like
if they just let's vote this
trolling.
in
Yes.
to get. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I see
3
what
to
you're
1
saying.
trash pandas,
Yeah.
really? But I guess it was better than a lot of the other options.
I was
So-
my favorite of all time is the when they were trying to come up with a name for the boat, and it was what was it, Mr. McBoatface? What was
Bodie
it?
McBoatface.
Yeah,
Oh,
Bodie
yeah.
McBoatface.
That sounds like something a 5-year-old would make up.
That was winning
Yeah.
at one point.
Man.
Bodie McBoatface.
Yeah, trash pandas received 45% of the vote. The second place suggestion, thunder sharks, received
That's actually a good name.
19%.
Thunder Sharks is
is
pretty cool.
great.
Moon possums had 13%, space chimps 12%, comet jockeys had the least, and I'm like, that'd be the easiest mascot. You got this like space dude on a
Yeah.
comet, like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
Come on, man.
Nope, trash pandas. So,
The
yep.
trash pandas.
What's crazy is they also voted on the first half of it because they're going to be playing in Madison, actually, not Huntsville, but in Madison, Alabama. And so they voted on Rocket City, North Alabama, or Madison as the identifier for the region.
Oh, gotcha.
And so
Yeah.
the Rocket City Trash Pandas, I mean, they went for it.
They did.
Like I said, right now, our USL New Mexico Soccer Club is they're trying to get a name. They've got 5 finalists, and I'm going, okay.
What are they?
They've
you remember?
only They've only announced a couple of them. You actually have to follow along on Instagram.
Okay.
And they've...
It's part of their publicity.
Yes, they've announced a couple of them, and it's like, what do you guys think? The first finalist... oh, gosh, now I have to go back and find them, but... they're traditional names, like NMFC, which is New Mexico Football Club. I think the other one was also... number one was Ole, New Mexico. And so that's all that they've announced so far of the 5. But I'm going, come on, man.
Yeah.
I want to name this club. So, yeah, Ole, New Mexico, or NMFC, or New Mexico Football Club. And I'm like, we need a mascot. I seriously feel like our city especially, we need a mascot to root for.
Yeah.
You know? The Isotopes, that's cool. Everybody loves Orbit. They got the little mini orbits now dancing and doing freaking things.
Those are so...
They're hilarious, right? Everybody loves it. Brody wants to do that so badly.
Oh, I know. I would kind of want to do it.
Right?
I want to put on a little orbit suit.
So, yeah, like right now it's like, are we Albuquerque? Are we going to be the New Mexico Football Club? Are we the Duke City whatevers? I don't know. So,
yeah, got to be creative with that.
Yeah, we got to. I feel like that's important in this modern day. You know how many people are going to support the Rocket City Trash Pandas? I want to buy a hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gear just
when
alone.
When they start selling their merchandise.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right, I got an update for you guys. So earlier this week, we talked about the couple who helped out a homeless vet. This couple was at a gas station, and they needed money to buy gas, and this homeless vet gave them $20 to get gas. And so they wanted to do something nice for this guy, so they set up a GoFundMe page. Before you know it, over $400,000 was raised for this guy. And, yeah, it's great. But then the plot thickens where, okay, this homeless vet got some of the money, and then, well, where's the rest of it? What do you get, like $75,000 or something like that? At first, he didn't get $400,000, and a lot of the reason why the couple said they didn't give him the money is because, well, he was a drug addict.
Right.
And they wanted to make sure they set him up properly, so they bought him a trailer and a place to stay on their property. Well, then we found out they took that away. And so here's the latest on the couple, because the homeless vet is suing this couple. The New Jersey authorities have now issued a search warrant to be executed. I guess, was it yesterday? Or I think it was yesterday.
They're going to execute the homeless man?
Oh, my God.
Yeah, they're going to execute the homeless man.
You got to be careful with
Harsh.
the words and the way you state things.
Yeah, they went yesterday and they
Or was
searched.
the couple executed?
They might have executed the couple. I don't know.
Oh, my God.
No, they didn't execute the couple. The search warrant was executed, guys.
Oh.
And so we're going to find out what's going on, because they were driving a new car. They went on a vacation, and they're thinking they spent all the money. They gambled it.
That's
so
terrible.
We'll see what happens with that whole thing. I think this couple's going to be in some trouble.
Which is crazy because, in the beginning, they were at this gas station. They were out of gas, and this homeless man approached them with he had a $20 bill, and he was like, "I'll get you gas," and gave them his last 20, and they were like, "Man, that is incredible."
Yeah.
And then they did this GoFundMe, and so in the beginning they probably had good hearts about it. Like, let's do something for this guy. $400,000, man. We could do a lot with $400,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, this guy doesn't need $400,000. And so,
yeah, it's not like they came up with this plan like, hey, sweetheart, I have a great idea.
Let's go pretend
Let's
like
run
we're
out of gas.
Yeah.
Hope a homeless guy.
Hope a homeless guy offers us $20.
Yeah, but some of us, you got to kind of ask yourself that question. I think it's kind of a gut check, a heart check. Is okay if you all of a sudden set up this account and there was $400,000 in it, and times are tough. You're
like,
having a hard time paying bills.
Up. We did.
Yeah,
this
where's
for
our
him.
cut, man?
Like
here's a drug addict.
We're giving him some of it.
We're giving him some money, of course.
Yeah,
because
the couple
he's homeless. Any money's good for him.
The couple said they immediately set up an account for this homeless vet. They put $25,000 into it, and they said he spent it in 13 days, most of it on drugs. And also he had past due legal fees they covered with the money, and he sent some of the funds to his parents and brother. but they said he used most of the money on drugs. Every dollar he ever touched was used for drugs, according to this couple. And so that's why he didn't get all of the $400,000. But now they're investigating because, okay, well, where's the rest of the money?
Yeah.
This guy's got a lawyer now.
Where's the money,
Where's the
Lebowski?
money? Where is it? And they say they still have $150,000 in their bank account.
Sure.
And they've been working to get a trustee to manage the money. So we'll see. Yeah, they bought him a 1999 Ford truck and a travel trailer.
At his request.
I don't even know if it was his
Well,
request.
because I
think it was
remember,
something
I
they wanted
remember
to
part
do.
of the article was that he said he wanted to be able to move it around.
Okay.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that part of as earlier information that because we were talking about how they bought him a truck and a trailer and then they took it away from him, and why did they do that rather than build him a little tiny house or whatever?
Yeah.
And it was because he wanted to not be in one spot.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
Yeah, I think you're right about that. So we shall see. We shall see.
Speaking of discovering you have too much money and being a jerk about it, have you guys heard about the collective bargaining agreement with the NFL? What's going on with that?
No.
It's set to expire in 2020. Basically, what happened before the 2011 season, remember there was a
Oh,
lockout.
yeah.
And it was like 4
Right.
months of a lockout. We don't know if there's going to be something.
Right.
And they finally came to terms before the start of the regular season. Well, that deal is going to expire in 2 seasons. And the way that they're talking about it, especially with the protests going on, especially with the rule changes that the players aren't happy with and everything going on, Richard Sherman chimed in yesterday and says, hey, there's going to be another lockout and we might lose football this time, which is really interesting to think about. We've got 2 years, guys, before all of the millionaires get mad because they want more millions for playing a game where you throw a ball and catch it.
And get brain damage by 30.
And run. Whew, man, so hard. So hard. So we've got 2 years before the agreement ends, but players want more guaranteed money, and it's looking like, at least for Richard Sherman, who is the player representative for the San Francisco 49ers, has said it's going to happen. This isn't a guessing game here. They've already talked to other representatives. There will be another lockout. It's just a matter of this one's going to get done, because since then there have been so many changes in the NFL and viewership and so.
Yeah, it's funny because you look at it and you go, like what you said, Steve-O, is these guys are already making millions of dollars. So it's like, oh, really? But then, all right, well, someone's making a lot of
billions
money.
of dollars.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So why is this person making billions?
Right.
And
who's bringing in the money?
Right.
The players, so the ones that are there to see.
Yeah.
Right? You would think.
Yeah.
How many people are there because they want to support the organization?
And that's why, with whole like college football, I think college football and the Olympics, those are two things that they need to look into, not just the NFL, because the Olympics make billions of dollars and those athletes don't get paid.
Right.
Like they don't make any money.
But it's for their country, bro.
It's for their country. Yeah. They get, it's possible you might be on a Wheaties box, maybe get an endorsement, but most of those athletes,
you're Shaun White.
right? Most of those athletes never ever make any money.
Yeah.
And the training they put in, the dedication is insane. And then college football, you look at that. I mean, they pay for your college, but
they're getting an education.
But hasn't that changed?
They're making billions of dollars.
Hasn't that changed a little bit?
Has it?
That the athletes, they're not paid by the Olympics, but they are professional athletes. That's all they do, and they've got endorsements and contracts and all kinds of stuff that they get paid so that they can dedicate. Now, not all of them. Some of them still work at Home Depot and Lowe's and things like that and do extra.
Trader Joe's.
But I think, because remember when the dream teams came and the Olympics, the hockey teams became professional hockey players.
Yep.
So it's not necessarily the U.S. Olympic Committee that's paying them, but they're paid to play hockey and paid to play baseball or basketball or whatever the Olympic sport. So I think track and field. Oh gosh.
Like I think about times when back in the day I worked here as a radio guy, but was also a janitor, and the shenanigans that went down because I was on the clock as a janitor, but that department doesn't want to pay for this, or this department doesn't want to pay. And like, now imagine you're a Major League Baseball player who's playing for your country, and Major League Baseball's like, well, we don't want to, technically he's not on the clock for us, so America's got to pay this much. Like, you know, that's got to be a nightmare to think about.
Yeah.
Like, seriously. Even those that are getting paid. So
So a long time ago, it was amateur athletes who worked like mad to qualify for the Olympics from the United States, and then would do their thing and win their medals or whatever. Like, you think about in the old days, Mark Spitz, who the swimmer that everybody talked about before. I can't even think of his name now. The new guy who came along who won 17,000 medals.
Oh,
Michael Phelps.
Michael Phelps,
Yes.
yeah.
My brain just went for a second. But that, the difference between what Michael Phelps was able to do in the time that he lives in and what Mark Spitz was able to do in it is completely different in the time that he had and the way he got money and I think it's different.
Yeah.
The way that I understand it.
Yeah. Gosh.
And that's not to take away from it. I mean, I'm not saying that we shouldn't put our best athletes in the Olympics. I mean, obviously we should.
Yeah.
But I think it's a little bit different but it's not on the level of the NFL or MLB or NBA or NHL or any of those other 3-letter.
Yeah. Did you guys see that they're talking about adding video gamers to the Olympics?
Esports.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
There's so much there.
There's so much there, but at the same time, I think people are going, are these athletes? And you could kind of argue the whole hand-eye coordination
define
thing.
Athlete. Like, it's a competition.
It's a competition.
Their thumbs are huge.
Okay.
They are so strong.
Yeah, it's true.
You wouldn't have problems with steroids, at least. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe Mountain Dew,
right.
because they're up for 23 hours straight. It's like, sponsored by Mountain Dew and Surge.
This particular gamer has been suspended because his caffeine level from Mountain Dew intake has exceeded the legal limit.
We lost one last year from a blood clot. Yeah.
His kidney infection was so bad he could not compete.
It's no joke, man. I went one year to Seattle for the World Cyber Games and saw it firsthand and was blown away by how serious esports are.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I just went there to cover it, and this was years ago. And wow, it was crazy back then and now. I mean,
think about how many people just on YouTube alone watch other people play video games.
Yes.
It's millions of people.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So why not add it to the Olympics?
Yeah, dude, when I get off of work, I'm going straight home and I'm going to play that new Spider-Man game. I'll make sure I Facebook Live it. You just $5 and you can watch me play a video game.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, and be sick and go, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah.
I don't feel well.
My thumb is sore.
My thumbs hurt. I have the worst life, guys. I'm like at home, sick, eating goldfish and
Chrissy,
drinking
bring
Gatorade.
me another Band-Aid. I got a blister.
Oh, gosh.
That's funny. All right, you guys want to chime in? We're hanging out on YouTube right now, Star 88 FM, and you guys can chime in. Live from the Dream Style Remodeling Star 88 Studios. We'll be right back.
Chad Beach says the church is all about good news.
You ever feel crazy? Tell the truth and shame the devil. You ever feel crazy? I'm Mexican. Latins, we wake up crazy, okay? We wake up, buenos dias, ra. Like, we just wake up like that. La cucaracha, round. La bamba, round. That's how we wake up. We wake up crazy. You ever feel crazy? You ever talk to yourself like, I just need a glass of water and to go to bed because tomorrow morning I'm going to be okay. Am I preaching to anybody? In spite of how you feel, I don't care how you feel. You're loved by God. You are loved by God. Paul the Apostle in Romans chapter 8, he said, I am convinced. Church, you got to get convinced today. For I am convinced that nothing can separate me from the love of God. Neither height nor depth, nor power, nor principality, nor angel, nor demon. Nothing that I've done, nothing that I've touched, nothing that I've said, nothing that I've participated in, nothing that I've smoked. Come on, anybody thankful today that nothing can separate us from the love of Christ.
Chad Beach, a Star 88 PowerPoint.
I love the food at the fair. I want to go on a roller coaster.
My wife and I had our first date at the fair.
For 80 years, the New Mexico State Fair has warmed hearts, brought families and friends together, and created lifelong memories.
This year, come and celebrate everything you love about the fair.
I really like the animals in the petting zoo. I like the pygmy goats. They're funny.
The 2018 New Mexico State Fair, September 6th through 16th.
The memories are always the best.
Love is in the fair.
Jonah is a familiar name in the Bible. Jonah and the whale, as some say. But the great fish plays a minor role in the story. This week on A New Beginning, Pastor Greg Laurie shows us the story of Jonah is a look at the importance of obedience and the effectiveness of evangelism. Important insights coming this week on A New Beginning with Pastor Greg Laurie.
Make an appointment with Greg Laurie weekdays at 8:30 a.m. on our sister station, KNKT 107.1 FM.
It's big. Brace yourself. Brand new music
on Star 88.
Mission control, do you read me? Send me my coordinates lately. Mission control, am I drifting? Tell me to someone who will love me.
Vertical worship, Christian hits, fresh indie, Star 88. Rich Wilkerson Jr. reminds us, God's dreams often have to go through a season of darkness. A dream that hasn't been tested cannot be trusted. A solar flare on Star 88.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. And I couldn't earn it, and I don't deserve it. Still, you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. No shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no the shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. The overwhelming, never-ending fragrance of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99, and I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending fragrance of God.
What's going on in the news today?
Top officials inside the president's own administration denying he or she wrote that blistering op-ed in the New York Times.
Burt Reynolds died today at 82. Cannonball Run made Reynolds the highest paid actor in Hollywood.
Ford is recalling about 2 million F-150 pickup trucks.
Because the seat belts can cause fires.
After a massive cyber hunt, the U.S. announcing charges against a North Korean spy for hacking Sony Pictures 4 years ago.
A frightening shooting in downtown Cincinnati. A man with a 9mm handgun opened fire at a bank building, killing 3 people and wounding 2 others.
Another major fire burning in California.
It shut down a major interstate near the Oregon state line.
Nick Foles for the Eagles facing Matt Ryan of the Atlanta Falcons. It's a playoff rematch. Game on, and the NFL's 99th season is on.
Oh, good morning, everybody. Live from the Dreamstyle Remodeling Star 88 Studios. It is Friday. Welcome to it. Live on YouTube. Facebook, sorry, we just are not even going to deal with Facebook. Somehow it shut off, and we've just decided to keep YouTube up because everybody can access YouTube, bro.
YouTube.com/Friday.
Nobody can hear you, dude. You got to put your headphones on. Steve-O's really sick, guys.
He's not
Pray for
feeling,
me, please.
He's not feeling good.
Yes.
And he's breathing on me and Dex.
You can pray for a hedge of protection around Sam and I. That'd be great.
That hedge of protection.
I'm allergic to hedges. Can it be more of a biological hedge?
Yes. That's absolutely
Protection.
what's going to happen. He's gonna impact the molecules in the air.
Yes.
To protect you guys. Much like when you're eating really terrible food, but you pray that the Lord would bless the food and nourish it to your body as you're shoving your face with like ho-hos and ding-dongs and cupcakes.
I've always, if I would meet somebody for like a cup of coffee and a piece of pie, and we're fellowshipping or discipling or having a discussion or whatever, and they're, do you want to pray before we eat our pie? And I'm like, well, I'm thankful.
Yes.
For the opportunity to have pie,
Yes.
but I don't. Is it really proper to say, Lord, take
Just
the calories,
bless this,
and the sugar, and make it do something healthy in my body?
Yes. With this,
I am
piece
thankful. I'm
of
extremely
apple and green chili pie from Asbury Cafe at the New Mexico State Fair. Gosh, I want to go straight there.
Yeah.
Hey, while you guys are over at our YouTube page, you guys can check out to something. If you don't go to Calvary,
I love this.
Calvary here. We for the past few weeks have been doing something for the midweek service. They're doing Bible from 30,000 feet, and they asked us to do to become news anchors.
I love it. We basically set up I'm going to call it the lobby, our lobby here at Calvary. We set it up on Wednesday nights to be like an airport. Like you can even like sit in like airplane seats. It's really chill.
Oh, wow.
And there's a screen. There's screens, plural, but it's kind of like when you're at the airport and you see news.
Yeah.
And so Dex and I have been doing the news based upon what Skip's teaching that week. So, like, for instance, when we kicked off the series, it was the book of Genesis and then the book of Exodus and Leviticus. And so Dex and I are news anchors reporting on the news.
But the problem is people can't hear us, though.
Time of the book of Genesis or during the time of Exodus.
Yeah.
But we've been getting a lot of people saying when they're at service, they can't really hear because it's mostly like them seeing us on the TV doing it, but they not really paying attention. You have to really listen.
And they don't have the closed captioning going underneath where they can read it.
Exactly.
Well, if you got a problem, he'll solve it. And so check out the videos as my DJ revolves it. Why
used that yesterday.
Why am I so caught up in Vanilla Ice? I love
you
Vanilla
did it
Ice.
yesterday. You can't use the same
so
jokes.
Much. Listen,
you're
bro, I'm
sick. Don't touch me. Come on, Lord, protect me.
Yeah, just breathed on you. Because I want you to feel. I want you to be sick now. Here, I'm gonna kiss your face.
No, get away.
I need you to get sick now, so we're both sick over the weekend, so that you're not sick next week, so the show doesn't tank. Okay. No. Like my body.
No, we'll both be here if we're sick.
YouTube.com/star88fm. Get there and check them out because they're we had so much fun making this.
Yeah, let me play a clip from a couple of the episodes. OSHA has been called to Egypt.
That's OSHA.
That's what I said.
All
in
right.
response to concerns over Pharaoh's construction safety cutbacks. Claims have been made that Pharaoh is using a massive force of slave labor and violating quality standards by constructing bricks without straw. Israelite spokesman Aaron had this to say. Let my people go. Okay.
That's so dumb.
It's so stupid.
Why did you play that clip? Of all the things you could have played, you didn't do like your David Letterman top 10.
I didn't have time, all right? I just grabbed a clip. I did grab, because Tamara's also involved. She's the weather girl, and she's so hilarious.
It's good. Now, unless you've been living under a rock, you've heard about the erratic weather in Egypt. Joining us now on location is our chief meteorologist, Tamara.
Well, Steve-O, as you can see, I can't. It's completely dark here in Egypt. I've even turned on my flashlight, but light itself appears to be broken. There's just no light happening, period. None at all. Nothing. Nada. Zip. Zero. This comes after 8 days of unheard of weather ravaging Egypt.
Okay, thank you, Tam.
Dude, at one point she goes into like the locusts and like it's all the different plagues.
Really funny.
It's so stupid. It's hilarious.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love how she says, as you can see, I can't.
Yeah. Yep.
It's my kind of humor right there.
Yep. So
pretty good.
We've released Genesis and Exodus, and as the messages continue forward, because we've already filmed a few more.
Oh, yeah.
But, Pastor Skip was in Genesis for a couple, and so, yeah. So,
that's so great.
As they're released and finished, then we can release them to our YouTube. So right now... Please welcome to the show with this final top 10 list, Moses Letterman.
Yeah, Moses Letterman, that's me.
It's been, 20 years of late-night talk show hosting?
20 years, that's a long time. That's 10,400 top 10s. I always count by tens.
Wow.
Okay, here's the funny thing about it is they'll send us the script like, here you guys go, like 2 weeks in advance. So you guys go over
reads
it.
these.
We haven't read it. We just go in and just wing it.
And so all of a sudden it's like, Dex, here's a wig. You're David Letterman. And we're like, what? How does... We can't do David Letterman impressions.
Oh, I nailed it.
400 top 10 lists. But tonight we add one more top 10 to that. Am I right?
Yeah, that's what we're going to do. Can I get a drum roll, please?
Actually, I'm sorry. This is a new set.
That's okay. I can hear it in my head. Sounds like thunder from heaven. Number 10. You shall not covet your neighbor's house, wives, servants, or anything that is your neighbor's. Number 9. You shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. You false witness. You false witness. So great. So bad. I'm like Ron Burgundy.
Oh, dude.
From Anchorman,
it's
because
the worst.
if they put it on the teleprompter, I'll read it.
We
It
are
is so
talking
bad.
about a 15-minute news broadcast that takes us hours to record.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because there was one.
Well, you get the giggles and we can't stop. Man.
It's true. Every time it's me. I'm the guy on set that's like, because for some reason I have to interview all of your stupid characters.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
really?
so I'm like doing this news thing. There's
It's
so many
so
times,
hard for Steve-O to be the straight man.
dude. You have to watch. Like, you'll catch me. Like, I'll bite my teeth, like just push down, trying not to laugh, because like I interviewed Moses in one of them, which is probably my favorite, because that took forever to record.
Oh, man.
Because it's a newscast, so you can't break. There's no breaks anywhere. You've got to roll through live. So there have been times where we're like 5-6 minutes into this one segment, and all of a sudden he'll say something, and I'll just crack up. And Jordy's like, "No! Oh, Steve-O!
See, we got to keep rolling when it does that.
We almost had that one.
We have to be like a real live, news reporter.
It's
out.
impossible sometimes.
Yeah, and you know what? You lied, because I have to interview you at times.
Welcome, Jimmy.
Thanks for having me, bro.
Jimmy, you're here today because you actually witnessed the Hebrew Exodus.
No way. That was me?
According to you, it was.
Yeah. I mean, well, I have a very unique van that I live in down by the river, Red Sea.
My favorite part is Jesse Lusko coming in and being cut.
You mean Daniel?
I mean, Daniel. Sorry, not Jesse. Daniel Lusko. He's working on it. He's like, cut. No, we need to try something different. I'm going, this is a news report. You can't just cut. What are you doing?
You already did that character voice, Steve-O. We're going to need you to step it up.
Do a different character voice.
Oh, my gosh. Dude, but we don't read them ahead of time. They send us the scripts, seriously, weeks in advance.
Yeah.
And we get in the studio, like last week. I almost don't want to ruin it, but there was a joke, one joke in particular, that struck me so funny, because we've got great writers here, that I got to that moment and I lost it and could not do the bit, because I was playing a particular character and he was trying to interview me, and I couldn't do it, man. Like, so yeah, you got to get there, youtube.com/star88fm, and check us out doing midweek update.
It's pretty stupid, guys.
It's really bad and hilarious.
It's really, really stupid.
I love it. It's my favorite part of my job.
Has been taken into custody on Mount Moriah for attempted murder. The swift sting operation was executed by undercover agents disguised as rams who rescued Isaac from the sacrificial altar just as his dad raised a knife in what appered to be an attempt to slay him.
It's so funny, because whenever I watch news reporters, I always make fun of them.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
totally.
oh my gosh, they can't talk. They're so bad.
Because you can go back.
Yeah.
And so, like, and that's, I don't even know how many takes in. So finally it's like, just keep going, just keep pushing, because we try to do it perfect, and then it becomes like chaos. Because, dude, the two of us behind a camera, we're not pros. So, like, it gets really bad.
An author of the book Genesis, Moses. Welcome, Moses.
Thank you for having me.
Moses,
So
the
stupid.
book of Genesis has been at the top selling spot on every book list forever. Your riveting documentation is ripe with scandal, passion, murder, rebellion, and truth. Tell us, Moses, where did you get the inspiration for this work?
From God.
Okay, Adam and Eve debut in the creation account. They're incredibly complex characters, and we don't get any background information before they just kind of appear in the garden. Can you give us some insight as to what inspired these characters? Where did they come from?
God.
God.
He's the best. Moses is the best interview.
Moses is the
That's
best.
so
Because
good.
that's it. Like,
Yeah. What inspired you? God.
Yeah.
But dude, I have to just look straight
Yeah.
ahead, because if I look over at this idiot, like, it's over.
Yeah.
Like, he is the funniest human being I know.
That is not true. You
So,
are.
Whatever.
You're funny.
Oh, you are. Stop
You
it.
are.
Come here, you.
Yeah, okay. Don't touch
I want to
me.
get you sick.
Yeah, just go to Star 88 on YouTube, and you'll see in their midweek updates with us. And people, it's funny because you read in the comments, people are like, "Oh my gosh!" Because if you don't go to Calvary, you don't know these exist. And
Right.
so,
Right.
yeah, you guys can go watch them. They're
There
a
you
lot
go,
of
bro.
fun.
That's
They're really
awesome.
stupid. They're
And now you've
dumb.
got another excuse to attend the midweek service, because we do this every single week for Bible from
There you
30,000
go.
feet.
Yeah, get
And
your
it's
butts
awesome.
to church,
Yeah,
guys.
get to church.
Yeah,
It's actually a really good series. Anyways.
Yeah.
30,000 feet.
Well, no, it's an overview.
You get into an airplane.
Thus the airplane. No.
Yeah, we built a giant airplane like the Ark.
We do have airplane seats on stage, and it's like you can, get on stage, and I'm like, don't pick me, don't pick me, don't pick me.
Don't pick me.
Because you're like on stage.
Dude.
I remember back in the day there was a concert series, and it was Third Day and Toby Mac, and you could win to sit on the couch on the stage. And so Chris Chicago, he was doing afternoons at the time. He sat on the stage with these two listeners for the whole concert. And I'm going, gosh, that's got to be the worst. Like, that's literally got to be the worst.
Yeah.
Because you're listening to, like, the sound from, like, wedges and, like, a bounce back from, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And
when
it's
you're
just
on the side stage, the sound is terrible.
Yeah.
We
but
did.
but you're on the stage.
For Montana State University Bobcats in Bozeman, they did a radio station did a promotion, and it was best seats in the house at the Bobcat basketball and football games, and it was a hot tub, seriously, right there, so you could watch the basketball game next to the court, and then right next to the field.
Oh my gosh!
But they had to get rid of it because people would show up and they'd get drunk. They would be hot tubbing, and you can imagine what would happen.
Right. And you're going, why?
Yeah.
Like, if I had won that, I wouldn't have wanted to do that in the first place because people are just staring at you.
Right.
That's awful.
Well, it got to the point, too, where it was like this hot tub company paid for the promotion.
Oh, right.
But then they found that a lot of people that won didn't want to do it because they didn't want a hot tub in front of everybody. So they would like, hey, do you and your 10 friends want to get in a hot tub during the football game? No, that's weird.
Somebody should write a book, Publicity Stunts Gone Wrong.
Yeah. Speaking of publicity, it's looking like they're needing more seats filled for this Wednesday's Bible from 30,000 Feet. Perolo just signed us up. So thank you, Pastor Matt.
There you go.
I mean, Steve-O and his family, definitely.
Yeah, it's like 5 seats right there.
Yeah.
Well, 4 because Brody's got to go to Bible Island. So,
okay.
yeah, it's just above his pay grade.
That's
for,
cool, man.
The Word of God.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's funny.
He's got to learn at his level. Here, color this. It's Jesus.
We don't know what God looks like. Well, they know. They will when I get done with this picture.
And apparently he's blue because that's the way my son drew him.
You never know, man.
Yeah.
Hey,
I wanted to see a blue
nobody's
God.
seen the face of God.
I mean, except in caricature form.
Yeah.
Do you remember the little felt things? You do, Baptist man. I loved those when I was a kid. And you'd get there to
flannel
Sunday school,
graph.
and
it's called a flannel graph.
I didn't even know what they were called. And all of a sudden, it's like, oh look! And then there's the angel shows up. Whoop, stick him there. Roll away the stone. Hold on, just gotta peel this off real quick. There's Jesus. He's in the cave. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I loved that when I was a
flannel
kid.
graph.
Let's do that one day for the show here.
That was pre-PowerPoint.
Flannel graph.
That was our version of PowerPoint.
Yeah, but you couldn't have more than like 7 kids in the classroom either because, it got crowded and Billy's head was so big. I'm like,
yeah, you can't see
gosh,
around.
I wish that kid would have moved.
This got quite a melon.
Gosh. Good old Billy.
Sam Swann, everybody. Dude, thanks for coming in, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Love you guys.
Love you too.
I'm going to go sleep for 3 days now.
No, you're not. You're going to go play Spider-Man.
Yeah, what? I don't know what you're talking about.
He's training for the Olympics.
I am.
Hey, but take it easy, man. Don't overdo it, all right?
I'm not going to overdo it.
Wouldn't that be the E-Olympics? Just throwing it out there.
Wow.
All right, Starmy, have a beautiful weekend. If you missed any of the shows this week, of course, iTunes. You can just search Morning Invasion. We're on YouTube and Facebook at Star 88 FM. And you can download the app as well. We're on demand. So have a great weekend. We'll see you on Monday.
That's all we got. There ain't no more. That's right. Time is tight. It's the end of the show.
A Star 88 Supernova. Here's Rick Warren.
Fulfilling your mission in life, God's vision, God's purposes for you, is not about crossing the sea. It's about seeing